Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to round two of the Dash It Off-Road Premier Endurance League GT3 Limited Series for round two, live from Sebring. I am James Parfitt. I am going to be joined in the booth by Pete Baxter. He's got a little bit of a PC issue this morning, and Scotty Rankin will be joining us in a little while here this evening as well. Well, it is Sebring, 5.79 kilometers of bumpy old Air Force Base. What more can you ask for? Well, I don't really know, to be blatantly honest with you, but it's going to be very, very exciting indeed here, and one that I think you guys at home are going to love. After round one, it was Owen Coleman who took the win for the elites. Benjamin Brook took the victory for the challengers, and Alt Revolution E-Racing won the team event for that round. But ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your hats, because this one is going to be a little bit fiery as we've just come into the end of qualifying before we go into that warm-up session ready for the grid here. Welcoming Greg Brooks, Trent Naylor, thanks so much for joining us here as well today. Much appreciated to you guys. It's thanks so much for coming along and having some fun, but it's going to be an interesting one. 2 hours of action with pit stops, possible safety cars. Let me know in YouTube chat how many safety cars you think, if we're going to have any. Do you think we're going to have 1, 2, 3? Me personally, I think we might end up with at least 2 here this evening, because let's face it, it's Sebring, it's bumpy, it's twisty. There's lots that could go wrong. Everybody I would have thought would have driven here before, being that it's Sebring, and we've all done it in the Sebring 12 hours and the iRacing special events, and literally in pretty much probably most official calendars that are out at this moment in time. But it's going to be one of them races where we're going to sit back and think, is it going to be clean? Is it not going to be clean? Well, we're going to find out on that one. We're going to have 40, I believe it's 49 cars out on the racetrack as well this evening. So we'll keep an eye out and see how we get on here as well. So, yeah, let's see what goes on and whether or not they manage to well, keep it clean and not crash into each other. So there we go on that one. But hey, who knows? So we'll find out here as well. So thank you so much for joining us. It's going to be very, very interesting indeed, and one I think we're all going to enjoy. We love a bit of PEL competition, don't we, Trent? He says there. Well, maybe on that one. We're going to find out, aren't we? Let's be real about it. Pete has rejoined me in the booth. Mr. Baxter, welcome in.
Hey, JP, bloody great to be here with you again tonight. I'm looking forward to it. It's been a while since I've been here, a couple of weeks, a bit of off season for us, but we're into it wholly and solely. I've just been bouncing around a couple of teams during qualifying just to see what the mindset's like between the drivers. They're all here to have a bit of fun. We've got a couple of guys starting from the rear because they want. And we've got a couple of, really, really sort of intense tech heads trying to get out the front. And so that's going to be pretty cool. We'll share those names through the race as we get them. But, looking forward to tonight. Sebring 60% fuel, mate. So minimum 2 stops at least. I'm expecting 2 stops in this race tonight from about 35 to 40 minutes in. So fairly standard 2-stopper for PEL. With those restricted tanks. But if we get a safety car, which I don't know, JP, I'm going to throw this back on you to think about for a while I gob off. But, I think Sebring's a light safety car. It's only a low-risk safety car tonight because there's plenty of runoff areas. So unless the car's kind of stuck on the track, we might not get a safety car. But yeah, I was just jumping in through a few teams through qualifying. The guys are out there having a little bit of fun. No names, no pack drills here, and I jumped into one team, and the first comment I heard was, Tony Ricky, he'll be slowed down, but I don't care. And that was a good fun and a bit of a laugh. I jumped into another, and the intense driver of Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Oh, he's just dropped. Jamie Saxon. He had, mate, mute on. He had the headphones muted. He was on a fast lap. I was watching him and he did all right. He jumped up to second in the Challenger class, but is still a few positions behind the dude who got pole in Challenger class, and then jumped out. Whilst teammates of him were going, nah, we're cool. I got a new paint. I'm just going to start for rear and see what happens and come from the end. So, mate, we've got a mix of all sorts of strategies tonight from some of the people I've heard. Quite a relaxed at this stage. Driver contingent. We'll see what happens. It's great to be back with you. And I know Scotty's coming along at some stage tonight. But, yeah, let's have some fun. I might be in and out as we go. You'll have to carry the can at some stage. But hopefully we can bring you all the goss from all the teams through the race and have a good night.
That's a surprise, Pete, me carrying you.
Oh, no. Hang on. We're not talking about cricket, mate. We're not talking about Aussies versus UK cricket, right?
You know what I mean? There's nothing shock horror about that, Pete, is there today? You know what I mean? So
no. Look. I will concede I am 7-1 on the Porsche bets, right?
You are very poor standards at this one on this one, mate.
They're kind of off my radar. I mean, I've got to count how many Porsches finish without spinning, but yeah, the Porsche bets is kind of low on my risk-taking strategy now, because for 2 seasons I backed the Porsche drivers in this series, and to be, mate, I will concede. Yeah, you had my measure there.
Definitely did. The interesting thing is I did a series yesterday, Pete, and I watched a Porsche go round at Mid-Ohio, and I instantly thought of you. That was it. It was all on its own. We were about 4 hours into the endurance of a 6-hour race, and literally he went round. And I sat there and instantly thought, I wish Pete Baxter was watching this right now, because he would have known what was going to come out of my mouth at this moment in time. The fact that they do whatever
look, we still got
do.
half a dozen Porsches in the race, and you got one on screen now, and go Isaac, mate, all the way to the end without turning the back end to the front. We're there. I love, because it's like the best go-kart type car in iRacing, mate. I love driving it. It's just such a sensational thing to drive. But you're right. You've got to be. Your mind's got to be sharp in it. You've got to brake a little bit earlier, and just if you over brake it, it's going to throw it round on you. And I gave too much credibility to the challenges, and I gave way too much credibility to Rankin. Right, he'll be back. We can say that later, because it did cost me some credibility in my ability to predict the quality of the drivers in the PL series who would select the Porsche. However, there's a whole lot of other drivers here in other cars, and we got a new car. We got the Honda Acura this year, and we've seen in other races that Acura has been quite the car to be competitive. Anyway, we're going to be up to the good very shortly, JP, so back over to you, mate. I'll shut up now.
Ben Jeffrey is on pole position with Trent Allen alongside him. Jesse Butler in third, with Owen Coleman in fourth, and Isaac Curtis in fifth. Harry Inwood leading the challengers in sixth place. Aaron Racanello in seventh. Then we've got Nick Bottrell, Rue Coistra, Leif McClimate, Glenn Arnott, and Jamie Saxon in the top 12. Moving on from that one, we're going to have Richard Mayer, Benjamin Brook, James Mason, Brad Coates, Martin Hallinan, then Dan Piper, Alfonso Latala, and Jeremy Greentree in the top 20. Top 21 will be Matt Carrick with Ricky Provenzali, Justin Davis, and Kurt Nommensen, with Kurt Chapman in 25th. Then Matt Webber, Daniel Magri, Bobby Camo, Brant Tucker, Grant Heaney, Nick Miller, and Brandon O'Loughlin. We'll see how that one goes out further down in 32nd. Then we're going to have the storm of the Challenger field. Chris Ruddle, Matt McCamley, Jesse McMiniman, Darryl O'Sullivan, Matthew Norris, Glenn Jones, Dale Atkins, Rob Edwards, Chris Withers, Steve Allen, Stephen Mellis, and Greg Goodfellow rounding out the back end. Then Stephen Lawrence, Sean Bonici, Adam Burhop, Tim Lawson, and Bryant Johnson, with Scotty Bartain doing the RC stuff. What do we think here in conjunction with times, Pete? What's a good time? What's not a good time? Because normally people aim for sort of low 2 minutes if they can. But what do we think is going to happen here with these guys?
Mate, I think if you can do a 2 flat in a GT3 qualifying at Sebring, you're doing a great time. And look, we got a 39.4 degree track temperature, so it's not the coolest track temperature. People might be able to get, if you had a 20 degree track temperature, you might be able to get the times into like the 159s, 158s. But to be honest, too flat is a good thing. I think we'd be looking at sort of 202s mostly for race pace. Although we know we got some elite aliens in this field, and we'll find some dudes that'll probably get under. I don't think we'll see a sub 2 minute tonight in race pace unless we've got an absolute special scenario where we got low fuel, late safety car, new tyres, cold track. So I think we're looking at about a 2 minutes to 202, sort of 201 at best race pace, which will put us around about sort of 58 laps.
Yeah.
56 to 58 laps for the race. We're going to see pit stops around about the 24 to 25 lap, or maybe even earlier than that. Maybe sort of 22 lap period is sort of around that 22 to 25, depending on who saves fuel or not. It is a good track to save fuel, as far as I'm concerned. There's lots of really good sort of long components of straights that you can lift early, save some fuel into braking zones, about 3 or 4 of them along this track that you can do that. So, but it is quite a long lap around. So if you're going to save fuel to get an extra lap, you have to do that, and you have to commit to it from the start, and that's going to cost you time. So we'll see how it goes. If I'm a driver who is being held up, I'll be saving fuel. If I'm a driver who's not being held up, I'll be driving hard. That's how I'd approach tonight.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think if you are going to have a fuel saving strategy, you do have to do it from the beginning. The problem is with doing it from the beginning is it can go literally, it can take you ages to actually get where you need to get to. I think that's going to be the thing for us here as well this evening. I think it's going to be very, very difficult for some of these guys to actually save fuel, and some of them to, even if they do try and get it, it's getting it right is going to be the problem.
Yeah, and look, but to be honest, if you're going to commit to it, you've got to commit to it, right? So, we're about to get into the straight. Couple of questions already out there made about where's Jimmy. Jimmy has decided that tonight's not his race night. He did need to take a break at some stage, and that would be it. I did say that I'd make all sorts of fun stories on Jimmy, but we can do that through the night, right? I mean, we know that Jimmy's the kind of guy that'll do 10 laps, have a spin, and go back to the back anyway. So it's not going to be any loss. But no Jimmy Middleton tonight, and I guess that'll save some of the fun about mid-race that we'd normally have.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the pace car's going to go and dive into pit lane very, very shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, hold on to your hats because the fireworks are going to start. We are going to be getting up and running. Ben Jeffrey's going to lead the field. How long is he going to hold them? That's going to be the question. Are we going to see dramatics going into turn 1? We normally do see dramatics going into turn 1. Ladies and gentlemen, we are green, green, green. Jeffrey's going to lead the way at the moment with Trent Allen sitting in second place here. Down into turn 1, they're going to try this side by side. Jeffrey's going to lead the field at the moment. There's going to be a little bit of argy-bargy in behind it, but Ben Jeffrey's going to manage to get through, go round out in front. You can see the storm of cars coming in behind. No real dramatics taking place at the moment, but it is Ben Jeffrey leading the field. There's a couple of people off track. Rob Edwards, Ricky Provenzali, Bobby Kamoa, all off the back of the circuit. There's been a bit of drama later on further down with Norris, with Atkins, with Greg Heaney, all involved in something there, Pete. But at the moment, Ben Jeffrey got away at the beginning with Owen Coleman in second.
No, absolutely. But did you see Owen Coleman start? Owen Coleman came from the second row of the grid, and he got a monster start. He just come around in front of come around in front of Allen. He just snotted him on the start-finish line, and he was well and truly in front of him. By the time it got to first corner, there was a little bit of a risk. A car come up and give him a little bit of a tap at that first corner. But Owen Coleman is the biggest gainer from that start up at the front group of 5 that I think are going to fight for this race, mate. That was a epic start for Coleman. I think Ben Jeffrey got away with a good one. Already. Allen lost out.
We've got a safety car already. Safety car is out on track. Scotty Bartain is driving out. There's been some drama. We're going to have to try and unpick this here as well. But there has been some drama on the track. I'm just trying to find where it all kind of kicked off at the moment, because there was a lot of people. There was a lot of red flashed up on my warning screen. There was a lot of things going on. Let's have a look. Ricky Provenzali He's in a Porsche. He goes hard on the brakes, and then I got a funny feeling something kicked off in and around him, because at the moment there was a lot of people taking fright on that one. Bobby Camo, I think this is just people rather going slow. I think it's going to be down here that's giving us the safety car that's going to have caused a problem. Glenn Jones looks like he's in the start of it. Matthew Norris, Atkins, Goodfella involved. Is this just everybody going slowly? There was something that happened with Brant Johnson, who struggled on that one. Let me see if I can pick up on Brant, see what went on, but he's back in pit lane. But we'll follow Brant. Ah, there it is. There's a little bit of it going on. Bang. And unfortunately,
all down the back,
go.
JP, yeah.
Yeah, down the back of the field. The worst thing was as well, I think, Pete, is it looked like it was almost straight. Watch the orange car further up. He gets into the blue and then goes across his nose, hits the Mustang. Round he goes, hits the Porsche, and then the Porsche gets a double hit. Oh, the Acura, sorry, gets a double hit. And then, unfortunately, he puts them in pit lane. So we do have a safety car already, and we lasted one lap, Pete.
Well, to be honest,
not
mate, not a lot in that. Not a lot in that. That was just cars sort of taking an open gap and driving through a gap, and then, you know, sort of coming side by side as the track closed together. I don't think there's a driving infringement in there from what I've seen. I've only seen what you've shared on the broadcast. I haven't gone back to my own iRacing and analysed it in detail. But to be honest, I think that's just the back of the field trying to get settled, and you know, two cars have just come a little bit close together. Maybe a bit of netcode has turned them around, and unfortunately, you know, at the back of the field, it hasn't hurt anybody else, and that's the good thing, right? The good thing is everybody else in the field, other than for sort of 5 or 6 cars at the back, are all in good shape, good to go. So, yeah, that's good news for the race. Slow them down. We'll get for another restart. Let's see if Owen Coleman can jump Ben Jeffries, mate, because he's already up 2 spots. He's got 1 more to go.
Yeah, we've got Withers has been in pit lane, Atkins in pit lane, Edwards, Brant Johnson, Darrell O'Sullivan has also been in pit lane as well. Sean Bonici's dived in, Steve Allen's dived in, Stefan Lawson's dived in. So a lot of people making use of this one. Big shout out to Print Racer for the sponsorship of the safety car here this evening. Go and check them out as well for all your track needs, should we say, in regards to printing off a track and your favourite tracks, your least favourite tracks, or in Jimmy's track. We might send him a Sebring because we know he loves his circuit as well. So head over to printracer.net for that one. So much love to them for sponsoring the safety car this season. But unfortunately, Ben Jeffries got to kind of do it all again here, Pete. He did a great job, and now he's got to do it all again.
Yeah, well, but that's the nature of the racing, and that's what happens when you've got manual safety cars, mate. You can't predict when they're going to happen, and if they happen early up in the race, it's probably a good thing because the race is not really settled into anything anyway. It's just another restart. We're going to get going again at the end of this race, but there was a message there from Jimmy Middleton, mate. He sent me just a reminder who pays you, because I give him such kind words for missing out in the race tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Middleton is an absolute flop of a race driver, couldn't get around Sebring, and therefore decided to pull out of the race tonight. I know Ricky Buravanzali will cover my pay after this, so I'm all good and I'm more comfortable, and we'll call it out as the truth. That's what commentators are paid for.
Yeah, here we go. We're going to get this going up and running at the moment. Going to go around the final corner with Ben Jeffrey on board. We're going to see whether or not he's going to be able to get the start again. He has got Owen Coleman tucked in right behind him. Holding the field once more is Jeffrey. Here we go. Is he going to get going? In the field right the way in again. This is always
it's a late
dangerous.
Start, isn't it? It's a late start, JP.
Late start by Ben Jeffrey there as we start getting down into turn 1 once again. Jeffrey in that Merc. leading the way with Coleman tucked in right behind him, Jesse Butler in behind that. Then we've got Harry Inwood, Trent Allen, Isaac Curtis. Everybody at the moment looks like they've made it through. No real dramatics kicked off again. There's been quite a few overtakes making place at the moment, but everybody is through, coming into the left-hander of turn 3. Now we've got that fast run down to Gurney Bend, and it's Ben Jeffrey again got the jump. He did what he had to do again, Pete. He's jumped out in front, and he's doing a great job in the process, but he's got to get that Merc through these first couple of laps, get them tyres warm, otherwise that back end is not going to like this one.
No, absolutely, and there's a little bit of argy-bargy in the midfield, but nothing much to talk about. But Ben did a wonderful job. I think he had one of two options there. He either had to go super early and get out of that big parabolic curve with a whole lot of speed and a gap, or he had to go super late and make sure nobody could draft him. So pick the second option out of that. I think anywhere in between he probably would have put himself in trouble. High risk move to go that late, mate, because you know people will overlap but not overtake, and therefore all sorts of things can happen in turn 1. But you know, look, Ben he's pulled it off, and there we go. Alrighty, looks like Leith McClimate's in a bit of a wars at the back of the track again.
Yeah, Leith McClimate, Martin Hallinan, Alan Raccanello, Richard Mayer, Dan Piper, Jeremy Greentree, Rick Provençali. Coleman slid up as well in that Acura. He got a bit of a slide on at the same time there for Owen Coleman. And Jesse Butler has gone through, and Trent Allen. They've all gone through, and Coleman, we're going to attack 3 wide down into the right-hander. Are we going to make this through? We are at the moment. But there has been more and more drama at the back end. We'll show you that in a minute. But at the moment, for Owen Coleman, he got a slide on, Jim, coming out of Le Mans, and then he just couldn't get the power down in that Acura, and he lost 3 spots.
No, there you go. But I can tell you that I've just have a look at the incident with Leith McClimate, and we'll come back to it shortly. Nothing in it from a driving infringement point of view, just a driving mistake there from Leith, but it's caused all sorts of havoc, and it's spread the field out down the back of the field, and we'll go from there. It looks like as Leith comes into the right-hander, you'll see him lose a little bit of the rear end, and that's just banked up the traffic, mate. Good thing is both of those two drivers, while Sebring Howard, they've both just stayed really stationary, you know, and you know what it's like when cars move. So I'm going to shout out, and we know we had some calls in the last race where we called drivers out for really poor driving. I'm going to shout those two drivers out for great driving. So sitting there, just taking the spin, sitting it and you know, copping the medicine, staying stationary so nobody else got caught in a bad rejoin. That's what we want from good driving. I'm going to call that out as great stuff from Leith and whoever it was there as well. So so there we go, mate.
Yeah, no, that's fair dues, mate, because as I say, we are quick to jump on people when they do, as we call them, zero IQ moments. But that was good from Leith there. He kind of just sat there, held his brakes, waited. Him and Richard Mayer, I believe the two of them together, just sat there waiting and let everybody try and go past them on that one. It's entirely up to the cars behind if they don't see the yellow flags and they go hurtling in and go and absolutely smack the cars part there, because yellow flags do not mean, Pete, as we know, gain more positions.
What? It depends which Discord you're in. It depends which league you're in, mate. Yellow flags can sometimes mean that, but anyway.
It does, mate. That's the problem. I think that's the thing. People see yellow flags, and then all of a sudden, it's like, yes, I'm going to get positions. Let's go, go, go. And they do go out and literally start hurtling through. Is the timing tower broken? I can safely tell you, not as far as I'm aware. Ben Jeffrey is out in front. Trent Allen in second. Harry Inwood and Jesse Butler are the top 4. What do you mean, Mr. Max Packet? So I'll give it a reload, but at the moment, I think you're going to see exactly the same top 4. There you go.
Yeah, no, it's aligning with my other software, mate. So I think the timing tower is all good. But yeah, you're absolutely right about calling out other drivers. And I think, you know, it's right to call out the good things that drivers do, because it's easy to criticise. It's difficult to demonstrate good driving on some occasions. But you know, here we are, and look, the race is underway. You know, some people have sort of copped a bit of an incident at the start, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, there's a few fights going on down here as well. Glenn Arnott and Jamie Saxon, they're battling away in there. We've got James Mason sitting in behind. Saxon in that blue and white Acura. James Mason in behind, also in an Acura. It's a very Acura field. There's a car off on the left-hand side. That is, unfortunately, Glenn Arnott, who has gone round. Hold that, son. Oh, yeah. That was nearly one of the bad ones we were talking about, but he managed to get it back on track.
I don't think he's listening to the broadcast, Joe. I don't think he's listening to the broadcast,
He completely missed that one, didn't he? He nearly got called out for coming back in track and just hitting people. But there we go. Adam Burhoff sitting in that Ford Mustang at the moment. He's got Matty Webber in behind him. Kurt Chapman up the road at the same time. Webber's got Nommensen tucked in here as well as we break through the first 10 minutes. We've still got an hour and 50 to go. And as you can see at the moment, Burhoff in that Mustang. But I think one of the things we've got to shout out here, Pete, and it's got to be appreciated, is where Harry Inwood is. Now, I've got Harry as, I believe, a challenger, if I'm not mistaken. And he is currently in third place.
Mate, I was just waiting to bring that up myself. I'm looking at the leaderboard, and because I was actually talking to Jamie Saxon during qualifying, and Jamie was the guy who during qualifying I jumped into the team chat, and he had full mute, no headphones, no nothing. Right, don't listen to me. No, so I'm 100% on board. And the other guys are going, oh no, you won't talk to Jamie. He's in like race mode, and they're all nice and relaxed. But anyway, so Jamie finishes lap, and he comes back out and said, "Hey, he said, oh, I'm still second." Like, and I'm like, oh, mate, you're 12th. You're challenger. That's pretty good. And then I looked up and there's Harry Winwood. And now have a look at Harry Winwood in the race. With all of that argy-bargy between Jesse Butler and Owen Coleman, Harry Winwood, he's on a podium position challenging the elite class. Mate, that is a strong call-out for somebody in challenger class. So let's look out for car number 443. He's driving a Mercedes, so same as Ben Jeffrey. So we wonder if there's anything in the Mercedes. And I was going to wait till Scotty Rankin got on, but I might ask you the question now. What kind of car do you reckon Sebring suits out of all of GT3s, JP? Because, we know different tracks suit different cars. Is this a Mercedes track? Is Harry Inwood, has he pulled a MasterCard by picking the Mercedes for Sebring tonight? There are a bunch of Acuras in the top 5 and the top 10, and we know they are a strong car right now on iRacing because they're the latest GT3 to be brought out. Not that I'm saying that iRacing favours their latest car to be brought out, but, which car does Sebring favour? And we're coming up to the Sebring 12 hour, so this is a really good race to have in PL. But shout out to Harry Winwood. He's done a wonderful job. We'll keep an ie out how he goes for the rest of the race.
Yeah, we have got the overlay back. I'm not quite sure why it's disappeared. It has just come back on its own on that one, fellas. So there you go. It is back on the screen. Regarding cars, I think the Acura's been strong. I've got to be honest. It's been a big shout, and people have really sort of taken to the Acura, and it's been a really strong car, I think. An Audi in behind that isn't going to be far off. I was talking to a couple of guys yesterday. They said that basically in the series they did, and they said the Acura wasn't available when the series started, but if they had the option, they would drive the Acura, but the Audi was the next best car. Now, that's not obviously proving here because we've got a Merc up first and a Merc in third, but we are got an Acura dominated top 11 after that with no fewer than 6 of them. So I think at the end of the day, the Acura is probably the car to try and beat if you can. The Mercedes, although it's older, I do love the Merc. If you can control the Merc and keep that rear end stable, you'll do a great job as well. I think the Merc is still an underrated GT3. I think, for me personally, it is a great car, and I would take the Merc if I was driving any day of the week, to be honest with you. But I think a lot of this, Pete, it's like driving the Porsche. It's driver preference, and if you can handle and understand what the car wants to do, you can then really drive the car well. We know the Porsche is tricky. We've seen it. You can do 50 laps, and on 51 it will kill you. But you've got to make sure you understand the car you're in. You've got to make sure when it's going to twitch, when you can apply the power, when you can't apply the power, when can you get the turning right. All of these things. Once you get that in a car, Pete, to be honest, I think it could be any car, and we've got a mixture of them here: McLarens, Ferraris, Fords, Acuras, Mercedes, BMWs, all in the field. I personally would go for the Mercedes, but that is just me, partly because I can't drive the Porsche.
But I don't believe, mate, for a second that there's any one car in this field that you can pick and you're going to be faster in without a good setup and without good driver skills. Oh, check that out. Was that Harry Enwood having a go? Who did we just see then? I don't believe for a second that you can just pick the Acura and you're going to be faster than others, right? I believe 100% that you've still got to get the setup right. You've still got to get your driving lines right. You've still got to get all of those things right to be able to go fast consistently in a field like this. So whilst we're saying the Acura might be sort of semi-strong, it's not the be-all and end-all. You can't just pick the Acura and be at the front, right? You've still got to get it set up right. You've still got to drive it right. And the other thing we're to think of...
Somebody's hived us on the inside line there as we were on board with Brooke. Wow. That was Alfonso Latella, who's just come and popped up the inside there. Matty Webber, Glenn Arnott, Brant Tucker. Looks like they've had dramatics, but you are right. Putting me in the Acura isn't going to make me faster than Owen Coleman, partly due to the fact I suck at driving. So it doesn't really matter on that one, as you said, what car you jump into. If you aren't going to put the time in, you aren't going to put the practice in, you aren't going to be quick in general. So for us, pick a car, go out and practice, make sure you get it right. Can I do low 201s in the Mercedes around Sebring? Yes, I can. Does it mean that I'm going to be up there at the front? Who knows, depending on what split you get put into. But at the same time, I think you've just got to make sure you are comfortable with the car there as well. But let's give you a quick rundown of what's gone on so far. We have had a safety car. Owen Coleman was sitting in second place. He went and spun up coming out of Le Mans and now lost 3 places. Ben Jeffrey led the field on both safety cars. He's still leading the field now. He's got to jump in that one in the elite class. Harry Inwood was at one point sitting in second overall. He's now down in third overall, sorry, but Jesse Butler in that Porsche has gone through. That leaves Harry leading the Challenger classes with Owen Coleman tucked up right behind him. I don't expect that battle to last long, guys, if I'm blatantly honest. I think Coleman will make the move, and Harry, you might as well let him go some, because you are in front of the next challenger, which of course is Jamie Saxon, as Pete knows. We've obviously been talking about Jamie here as well. Very concentrated, not entirely happy about being in second, as he's having argy-bargy at the moment with James Mason in that Acura, and lots of action going on with Mason and Curtis in front there, Pete. Oh, yay. Mason pushing the edges and boundaries of the track.
Well, that's what boundaries are for, aren't they? They're there to be tested. They're there to be driven across but not over and not out, and if you go out you've got to come back safely, and that's what race drivers do. Race drivers exploit them, race controllers control them, and it depends which side of that fence I'm on, is whether I'm exploiting a white line or whether I'm controlling a white line. And I've got to tell you, when you jump from race control to race driver, sometimes it's a little bit difficult. Oh, I shouldn't go out there, but you know what? I'm going to go there because I'm fast. So good on you getting out there. I'm just checking. There's a couple of penalties that have come up, mate. So the car 197, that's Braden O'Loughlin. So he's carrying a 5-second penalty for an incident early on the race. We've got car 91, Kurt Nomenson's carrying a 10-second penalty. And Stefan Lawrence, car 52, started from the back end, already done a pit stop. He's also carrying a 10-second penalty. So a couple of penalties out there already. Race control doing their job. We haven't really seen the incidents, but there have been things that have been going on. So
yeah, we've got lots been going on, to be honest. It's hard to determine here as well, because the software picks up when people are slow going around the hairpin, and it comes up and tells me that they've crashed. So it's really kind of picking and choosing what we can actually get through and show. This was an incident with Braden O'Loughlin. This is going into the final corner. Oh, you're going to get... There you go. Round he goes. Again, easily done. That's a Porsche being slammed on the brakes too much there, Pete, I think, for Braden.
Yeah, no. Not sure that's what Braden got penalised for. I think the penalty come up well and truly early in that. That seemed to be a little bit of, I'm going to hit the brakes a little bit harder because I'm catching up to the car, and sort of self-penalty. So pretty sure Braden got caught up into something before that, mate.
What's going on in this process, but you can see here we're almost trying freeway with Green Tree. Provenzale jumping on the inside line. He's just overtaken Green Tree and he's gone through. And Piper in the mix at the same time. So Davis is now the next one for Greentree. Greentree, unfortunately, looks like he's just gone off exit stage right for Jeremy Greentree. And he did. Was there contact? That's going to be the question. How bad, if there was any, or was it just him? Oh, it looks like no, he just missed his braking point, hit the grass. His little right wheel just tapped the grass there, Pete, and unfortunately, that was all she wrote.
Yeah, that's it. It doesn't take much. It drops you down about 5 to 10 positions. Hey, let's have a chat about Ricky Provenzali, JP. Now, look, I know he's one of the guys that pays the bills, but no, I want to talk about Ricky as a driver. So forget about his league management and his role in all of that, right? And we know that the last few seasons, right, in the limited series, Ricky would start at the back and he would come through the field because, Ricky, quick driver, and it was his way of assessing and making sure there were no super aliens with false I ratings out there in the limited series, right? Fair call, right? And that's how he set up the PL, and him and Jimmy have done an absolute fabulous job. Have to say that because I'm still here. But let's talk about Ricky as a driver, right? What we're seeing this season, we saw a little bit of it last season. Ricky's come in now and he's competing. And he's competing right now and he's running P16. So he's midfield. He's competing as an elite challenger, so he's not up there with the guys that I kind of expected when I saw what Ricky was doing in the first few series. I kind of expected that Ricky would be up there in the top 10, fighting in the top 5 nearly all of the races. Do you think that league management might be slowing him down because he doesn't necessarily have the time to practice, and that's costing a little bit of time? Or are the others sort of jumping ahead a little bit further than what Ricky might have been in the first couple of seasons?
Think about what Ricky's got on his plate. Okay? First off, he's got to run an absolute massive league. That's one thing.
He's got to manage you too.
Yeah, he's got to manage me. Because he keeps telling me I'm being naughty. James, come to the steward's room. Oh, for God's sake, again, Ricky. You know what I mean? Back up. But you've also got to think outside of that as well. He's got work life. Don't forget, he's got his 2 children at the same time. One of them's very little. So there's a lot on his plate on that one. Can Ricky be up in the top 10 every single time we race? Absolutely. Does he have time to put the practice in? No. That's the problem, I think, for Ricky at the moment. He tries to snatch moments when he can to practice to balance what he's got going on at home. Let's face it, the wife ain't going to be wanting to do all of the 2 children on his own. Ricky's got to pull his finger out and get involved and make sure the baby's fed and everything else. He's got a lot on. And this is like anything. People say to me all the time, James, why aren't you driving? Why aren't you? Dude, I don't have time. Between running JPB, between trying to staff manage, between my family life, don't forget I've got 3 kids at home as well. I'm trying to get my son ready for his new season of drag bike racing this season as well. I've just got too much on. And I don't want to spend all day sitting in front of my computer like I will today. I've got 5 broadcasts to do today alone. I don't want to spend all day looking at iRacing and then sit there on my break or in my time when I haven't got iRacing to go back and do more iRacing. It isn't going to work. I've got other things to do. This is the problem with people like us who have families who are trying to run something like JPB or like PEL or whatever. We have not got time. And Ricky balances what he can, and he balances it well. If it means he's quicker, but he's sitting down in 15th, 16th, 17th every race, it's fine. One reason why it is fine is because he ain't sleeping on the sofa getting in the neck from the wife. He's all day in front of this machine. And this is the thing, I think for him, it's that balance game, Pete. You can't put too much weight on one side. You've got to try and balance family life, EEL, work life, children, the wife, all of this stuff. I reckon Ricky could be up there every single time. Don't get me wrong. If he had hours and hours and hours to practice, he hasn't got them hours, Pete. And a big shout out of him for even getting it on the track, because at the moment, I don't even get out on the racetrack, let alone even take part in the leagues that we run. So for him, I think he does the best with what he's got, Pete, and that's the thing. And I'd love to see Ricky up there. We'd love to be cheering him on for an overall win. We'd go mental up in the booth. Do I think it's going to happen? Why he's got no time on his hands? No, I don't. I think Ricky has not got the time to be putting himself up there in the top 5.
No, and I think you've nailed my exact point, mate, is that, super fast driver, and, between him and Jimmy, they came up with the concept to bring the league up. And at the time they came up with the concept, Ricky was probably doing way more driving than he was doing admin. He's just popped off the screen to come back in. And I think what we're now seeing is the burden of administration and extracurricular iRacing just in times of, let's say a 10 position pace drop. Now that's, half a second a lap maybe in pace, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're competing against a whole lot of other people, that means a lot in terms of position. So, but look, I want to leave it with, I love the fact that Ricky is now out there and competing properly. I'd love to see, Ricky really put it in. Is that the pace car coming back out?
Yeah,
that's Scott Barton in the pace car, mate. That's coming back out.
Yeah, Scotty Barton is coming back out. I'm just wondering if it's this Benjamin Brook incident. Oh, it is Benjamin Brook's incident, but Benjamin Brook has been doing something way before we got there. Oh, he's done it way before we got there as well. Blimey, Ben, how many times did you get off here, son? He's already off again. Where is it? Oh, did he do it here? Ah, this is it, because he's still got a complete car there. Man, you're going round.
Oh, there we go.
Rats.
Picked up the safety car, yeah. Unfortunate, that is really unfortunate for Ben. Just a little bit of overdriving, which can be easy to do at Sebring, particularly first corner. But I'll Jimmy Middle, mate. He's getting stuck into Ricky, saying he's the one with the young kids, not Ricky, and we're giving Ricky all the sympathy. So Jimmy's going, I wish I was home as much as that bloke. Hey, Jimmy, mate, if you were as home as much as Ricky, you'd probably further up the field like Ricky is. Anyway, look, we've got to stop banging on, otherwise we won't get paid tonight. But let's focus on the guys.
You're dropping yourself in it, Pete. It's got nothing to do with me. I'm innocent, Jim. Don't do it. No, but the thing is, people don't understand. I think Max says, "Oh, poor Ricky, the only bloke to see was okay." It's not Max, but you're not running the PEL. The guy puts hours in there between him and Jimmy. They work longer than most people do in a normal day job, and this is on something that's voluntarily they do and put on for everybody. This is the thing.
Oh, absolutely, mate. I've seen how much time they need to manage you alone, let alone me and Scotty. So,
what do you mean? Hold on a minute. Listen, I'm the innocent one. I'm in the UK, so I'm well out of the way. So when I get a message from Rick that says, "James, you got a minute?" I'm like, "Nah, busy, Rick. Sorry, mate. It's like bedtime." And he's like, "James, it's like 9 in the morning." I'm like, "No, Ricky, it's bedtime." You know what I mean? So I hide. But this is the thing. At the end of the day, you've got to sit back and think what they've got on. And people just don't have time to practice. And Max, if you get time to practice, fair play to you, dude. I have massive respect to you on that one. Because I tell you what, if you've got a wife like mine who, is demanding. I've got a 7-year-old girl. Anybody who's got girls know they're demanding on their own right, let alone being 7 and wanting as much time with daddy as possible. It's a very difficult situation to balance work life and kids and wives all at the same time. And my wife has just stood in behind me and come into my office and staring at me at the moment. So I've got a funny feeling I could be on the sofa later. I am literally, dude, she just walked in and gave me the most biggest evils.
Jimmy and Ricky, the strategy's working. We'll get him on the couch by the end of the night. Listen, there's a race going on, and there's a whole lot of things that just happened, mate, with that safety car.
Hey, I'm in the deep doo-doo. She's got to make me coffee. If I drop down dead in 5 minutes, I know it weren't just coffee.
All right, so let's get back to the race. First round of pit stops has just happened, and interestingly, Trent Allen 3 seconds shorter on the pit stop than Ben Jeffrey. So Trent has jumped Ben Jeffrey. 2 people, Kurt Chapman in the car 916 and Greg Heaney, both Challenger classes, the car 276, currently now in P1 and P3. Neither of those guys have pitted, and they've gone up to the front of the field essentially, but Trent is sitting in between them. Ben Jeffrey's running now in 4th, and we've got Harry Inwood he's done his pit stop. He's done the same time, so most of the pit stops are around about the 45 seconds, all except for Trent Allen, who's done 3 seconds shorter and just made that jump. And Harry Inwood now, as the lead challenger, is sitting in P6. So this safety car has come at a time when the first pit stops can happen, JP, and I think that's a pretty good time to mix the race up a bit.
Yeah, I think if you haven't jumped into the pits, no offence, Kurt Chapman and Greg Heaney, you're going to be in trouble. So,
absolutely. That
That's a crazy move. I think if you get a safety car right near your pit window, God damn, you got to take it. You cannot sit out there and go, I'm going to get position, because at the beginning of that restart, you might have the position, but trust me, when you go in, you are going to be down the field, all the way down on that one as well. Matt Webber not pitted. Greg Goodfellow not pitted. Greg Heaney and Kurt Chapman not pitted. The only 4 out of the field that have not pitted at the moment. And I think that's where we're at. Greg, what's the pace of Trent Allen looking like versus Jeffrey? Trent Allen's best time is a 2:01.29. Jeffrey's is a 2:01.53. So absolutely nothing between the two of them at this moment in time, Greg. So, you know, there we go on that one. At Sebring, I struggle to keep up with Scotty in the Print Racer safety car. Yes, you would, Jimmy. He hates it. He told me earlier. He absolutely hates the safety car. I've lost Pete Baxter again. I'm on my Todd in the booth as I went to bring Pete in and he ain't even here. So he's run off. Where's he gone now? He's gone somewhere. As old Pete, he's gone to find out something from somebody probably, but wherever he's up in the TKR Dash Racing team chat at the moment. So he left me on my own, and I've been sitting here talking to myself for the last minute. Hello, Pete. You're back again.
Yeah, no, I just jumped into the TKR team booth, mate, and just said, hey, boys, how you doing? I'm the safety car. I did promise I'd come and talk to the teams from the safety car, and those spots are a little bit frustrated. They're like, oh, no, we've been caught up in incident after incident and there's no further action. I'm like, oh, actually, we can't see all of that. So they're having a tough race tonight, and it's just a bit of good luck. I was trying to find Harry Inwood or Kurt Chapman or Greg Heaney on the chat, but unfortunately I can't find them in Discord, because I would have loved to just ask them what's the strategy of staying out. You know, they're going to get a little bit of broadcast time, but you know, is it worth it?
I don't know.
A bit of broadcast time with it.
I don't know.
In terms of the whole race context.
I don't know. For me, for Kurt Chapman, I would have been in. Listen, dude, even I know that when there's a safety car near your pit window, you're going in, regardless, and you jump in at the first possible opportunity. If you've gone past pit lane, you get in the next lap, regardless of that one. I know that. Okay, so there you go. These guys really should have known that. The 4 that haven't pitted are going to be in deep doo-doos a little bit later on, because they can't be that far away from their pit windows. So there you go. What more can you? What more can you ask for?
It's effectively going to cost them a pit stop, right? Because everybody else is going to be on the green flag, and they have to come to pits. I don't understand it either. They're all of the cars that didn't pit, and there's 4 of them. I'm reading have all come in after lap 1 or lap 2. So they're the cars that came in after an incident and possibly fueled up. So, but you know, I can't see them going many more than about sort of 3 or 4 laps anyway. So yeah, I don't understand it, because it's actually on point with the normalised race strategy. So for me, and for even the drunken crew chief that I can be, that Scotty will tell you about, I don't get why they do it. I think you just got to get in there and, to be honest, with the safety car, fill up as much as possible, cop a little bit of track position loss, because at the end of the day, you gain that in the next stop, right? If you don't get held up too much. So, a little bit of race smarts. Saying race smarts is lacking is a tough call. I might sort of cop that later on. But, I just don't understand the strategy.
Yeah, definitely as well. Max Packets in YouTube chat. I've just been informed it's Jacob Hughes. There we go. That's why we got Jacob giving Jimmy a load of grief in YouTube chat at the moment, which is very well.
Oh, that's Jacob who wouldn't choose the Lamborghini because he was scared of it.
Fair play. Right, ladies and gentlemen, Here we go. We're going to be up and running with 35 minutes in of 2 hours. To stay with us for the next hour and 25 minutes. Kurt Chapman is leading the way. He has got Trent Allen in behind. Greg Heaney leading the challenges as well. How is this one going to work out? Well, we're going to find very, very soon. He's already gone. He's trying to get away right at the beginning. It's probably his best thing to be able to do for Kurt Chapman. But at the moment, he's still got Trent Allen tucked up right behind. We are green racing. Don't think there's been any major dramas. Everybody's still, you can see on the track map on the right-hand side, we've still got people coming through the last corner. And these guys are on their run round through turn 3. Chapman is leading the way, though. He did get away at the beginning there, Pete. Heaney also got away at the same time. But how much longer is it going to be before they get swamped?
No, but the good thing is, Trent Allen and Ben Jeffrey, they don't have to make any risk here because they know these guys are coming in the pits, right? Although it looks like Trent's going to have a go, and he's got the position pretty easy.
Jeffrey's
and
done the same.
This is where the strategy falls over for the guys who didn't pit.
Yeah.
The guys behind are just too fast at the front.
Yeah, they're in politely. I'm going to say this politely. They're in out of their depth, being where they are. They haven't got the pace to keep up. They're going to feel disheartened. They're going to have to try and stay out of the way. They're going to be bullied like Heaney is being bullied at the moment. Heaney got even bullied by Inwood, but Inwood's been in pit lane at the same time. Now Heaney's going to lose a place to Coleman. He's going to get bullied out. But Greg Heaney, he must feel like a kid in the playground at the moment, wearing no pants. He's got no shoes on because they've chucked him over the telegraph line. He's got no money to eat, and somebody's stolen his squashed up jam sandwiches because at the moment he's all the way down in 8th. And don't forget, he kicked off in 3rd.
Oh no, bullied is probably the right term. We're not allowed to bully people anymore, but from a race perspective, that's what you do, right? You're going to bully people on track. You're going to drive around them if you can. And absolutely missed strategy for both those calls. At least Kurt, he's holding his own out the front. He's just let Trent go and he's slotted him behind, and he's maintaining a little bit of a gap there. So Kurt's done right, but he's going to lose out when he has to come in the pits.
This is the problem. Look, though, he's held out. Sorry to cut you off there a minute, but he's held out for this lap because them guys behind were clearing Heaney. But now watch them swamp him all of a sudden. This is the thing. You've got a Kurt Chapman on the race grid and on race paces and not going into the pits is sitting in 2nd. But where would Chapman really realistically be? Watch as these guys going to come through. You can see later break in from behind from Jeffrey. He's closed right into the back of him now. Jeffrey's going to sit there and go, dude, I need you out of the way. I'm not being rude, but I am coming through. And I can guarantee at the end of Gurney now, if he don't make this move, Jeffrey, I think I would be very, very shocked indeed. He has got to come late to try and get it done. He's pulled out on his intentions. He's looking, thinking, not really sure what Chapman's going to do there. He kind of left the door open. He didn't kind of defend it. There was so much uncertainty because Chapman thought Jeffrey was going to come through. Jeffrey thought Chapman was going to defend, and neither did anything. And it all looked a little bit messy and confusing. Chapman is going to get swamped very, very soon because look at the 6 cars lined up behind him.
No, absolutely. And what he's doing, he's actually giving Trent Allen a really big gap to be able to drive off. And if there's no safety car, Trent Allen's he's going to have to go and give half the trophy back to Kurt Chapman and say, hey, dude, that was awesome. Thanks for holding the field up. You just gave me a 3-second break to win the race, right? That is, that's something. Now look, nothing against Kurt. He's made that decision to not pit, and that's fair enough, right? We know that it's a 2 pit stop race. Oh, he's overdrove it.
Chapman's come round. Trying so hard to stay in front. And now, unfortunately for Chapman, he's all the way down in 14th. But you can see what's gone on up front. This has put Harry Inwood alongside Butler. Inwood's on the inside line in that Mercedes. He's going to come down into the final corner. He's going to run that in deep, that Mercedes. He's going to give literally pushing Butler out as far as he would go. Cannon would control that Merc on the exit. Over the bump, they're going to go on the left-hand side there. A little bit of a rise. They have made it through. But all Chapman did was overdrive the car, trying to stay in front. And again, he's gone and put it round and damaged his own race.
Well, look, he's probably been forced into a position where he's driving just a little bit faster than he needed to because he had all of those people, pushing him essentially, and he knew he was costing time to the leaders. And I'm going to say it again, as a result of his strategy, of his own or his crew chief's choice. Hopefully Kurt will come back and say, no, my crew chief told me to stay out. Then if we know an Irish thing, it's basically the driver's choice because they can come in or not. But anyway, look, it's happened. That's where it is. Kurt's now sitting down. He's lost quite a few positions in the Challenger class. And when he comes in and actually does his pit stop, he's going to drop right down to the back of the field and then some, and going to need a safety car to get back up. So let's just focus back up the front now. We've got Trent Allen, who jumped Ben Jeffrey through that pit cycle. I tell you who I'm loving seeing tonight that we haven't seen up the order was Rue Cuesta. Rue Cuesta was doing really, really well. He was up in the top 10 there just before that safety car. Now, where has he dropped off? So he's just now down into 7. And I noticed Cher, our love, Rue's mum is back in the chat, Cher, and Cher, shout out to you. Thank you for joining us for I think it's the 4th season in a row, JP, becoming one of our most popular subscribers. So shout out to you. To answer your question, it's a 2 pit stop race tonight. We've got a pit stop at around about the 40-minute mark, which we've just seen. I expect to have one more pit stop in the race with maybe a little bit of fuel saving now, because the first pit stop came early under safety car, but the safety car might get them to the end anyway. So we're expecting in about another 40 minutes time, so about 1 hour 20 race pace or race time, we'll be expecting the second round of normalised pit stops, other than those that go out of cycle. So welcome, Cher. Great to have you back in the chat.
Yeah, as well. And I've got to pick up, Cher did ask how I was earlier on, but asked it in a lovely way of, hey, mad Englishman, how are you? So there we go. I think that's unfortunately one of the things that have stuck within this series. I've somehow ended up being the mad Englishman, Mr. Baxter, and I believe you may have had something to do with the start of it.
Well, we just gave you an Aussie nickname, mate. Welcome to Australia, mad Englishman, right? If you're going to go off and do something special and an Aussie give you a nickname and other Aussies agree with it, it's stuck, right? It's there for the rest of your commentating career in Australia. You are henceforth known as the mad Englishman. Now, lovely. Don't think it's a bad thing. It's a wonderful thing, right? The worse the name you get in Australia, the better it is, right? That's how Australians work.
Yeah. I will say one thing though, Shay, you might want to get hold of Rue and just be a little bit careful on his old tinternet, because he has been blinking around the last couple of times as well. So just Rue needs to be a little bit careful on this one. I'm trying to pick up on the group that's taking place down here. We've got Greentree, Ruddle, McMinimum, McCamley, Arnott, Racanello and Nominson all in a fight there. Greentree has just about lost that place to Matt Carrick, unfortunately for him, but he has got challenges in and around him at the moment of Chris Ruddle, of Jesse McMinimum, of Matt McCamley. So they're still fighting it out further down there, Pete, and I think that's one that we could keep an eye out for here, and I think it's going to be a very, very interesting way of doing this as well.
No, and that's what this race is going to be. It's going to be a difficult one to sort of cover every driver. We've got 40 odd drivers in the race, but what we've got is we've got about 4 groups now that are 6 to 10 cars like within a second of each other in terms of intervals. So to be able to pick any one driver tonight is not going to be easy. To be able to find action is going to be easy because it's all over the track, right? But that's the nature of Sebring. It's a cool racetrack. Right, it's got great straights, it's got great braking, it's relatively even, and if you make a mistake, you're in trouble. But so if we don't shout out your favourite driver or someone who you're looking for tonight, it's probably just because the racing is so good across the field.
Free wide. Seen this before. Oh, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, they managed to hold on to it. Greentree managed to hold on to it. I think that is actually a back marker in there, and I think that poor old back marker just had a massive moment as Miller down in 19th, is it? Oh no, it was for a position, but blimey, I thought that was all going to go a little bit Pete Tong there with Matt Carrick, but Carrick decided, I'm not having any of that, I'm backing out of this one. But it has brought a group. Now, I say a group in the nicest way. Greentree has got from him in 18th right the way down to 30th of Dan Piper. That is the group of cars. You can see they're jostling, they're fighting, their elbows out here, Pete. It's surely when we've got this many cars battling out, is it gonna work completely?
Well, it is if the drivers are smart, right? So if you've got to run on a driver on a corner exit, and you can have a go at the next corner. And look at these 2 drivers that we've got on screen right now. Who's that? Tucker and Nominson, side by side through 4 corners. That is just sensational driving, and shout out to both of them. That is awesome driving. That's what we need to see more of in iRacing. Drivers who can ride side by side, they can give each other room, they respect the racing room for the other driver to be on the track. They make a pass, but they make a pass over 6 or 7 corners, and then eventually the faster car prevails and gets on with it. That's what I love to see in iRacing. That is the number one iRacing, and even from a race controller's perspective, that's what the rules are designed to allow drivers to do, and I love that, and I shout out to those guys, and that is Force, Kurt Nommensen, that's Brett Tucker, and I think Richard Mares just jumped into the back. There's three.
Yep.
So good on you guys. Absolute shout out. Legendary driving. Well done.
Yeah. Oh. I nearly made it. Didn't nearly make it. Nearly made it. They did make it. There's a few people in pit lane. Webber's in there. Heaney's in pit lane. We knew that was coming. Unfortunately, missed the trick on the safety car. These guys still battling out. There's Richard Mayer, Brent Tucker, Dan Piper, all in the mix as they continuing to fight this little group towards the back end. This is 16th going down as well. Green Tree's further up, but boy, oh boy, has it been kicking off further back as well at the same time. Unbelievable. Regardless of pace now, we can talk about it properly. Trent Allen, last time out, 2:02.57. Ben Jeffrey, though, 2:01.57. Massive second pull in from Jeffrey there. He got the second gap over Allen. You can see it at the bottom of the screen. Allen's lost time, on 17, 18 and 19. That 2 and that 1 was when they were stuck behind that Heaney and Chapman. But you can see now Ben Jeffrey's just literally reeling Trent Allen in.
No, absolutely. Ben's got his eyes on. I might leave you to it and see if I can go and get a chat with Ben, mate. I've got to have a look and see if he's in Discord first and see whether he'll actually talk to me. He might not, because a driver in that state might be just like too focused to be able to talk. But we'll see how it goes. But no, absolutely fabulous race so now as we go.
Keep an eye on his lap time as they're going to go over the line. We're going to see what the progression is and who's going to be close enough. I think Jeffrey's going to get him again here around the final corner we go. He's going to go over the line, Allen, at the moment, but he's going to have to, I think, get a little bit of a wriggle on coming in with 47 minutes gone. Here we go. What are the times? 2:02.4, 2:01.7. 6 temps pulled out again. Allen, unless he is fuel saving at this moment in time, is going to be under the cosh very, very shortly here with the guys in behind. We can have a see if we can have a listen in, see if he is fuel saving. Is he lifting and coasting? Just have a listen on the rundown into the hairpin. Didn't hear nothing. Oh, there's a car there! Oh my Jesus Christ! I literally just had puppies. I think that might have been Steve Allen. Oh, brother. It was Steve Allen. He did go round. And here comes Trent Allen. What's their movement? Oh, there was. Oh, dude. That has brought Jeffrey right into the back end of this now, Pete. Not good. Not good from Steve Allen, let alone scaring the life out of Trent Allen.
No, well, I just jumped back and I just had a chat with Ben Jeffrey, and the 3-second pit stop difference, you'll love this, right? Ben's actually putting his hand up and saying he had tyres ticked, and that's what cost him the extra 3 seconds. So self-mistake there. It wasn't a strategy call by Trent. Trent's obviously gone fuel only, no tyres, but Ben's put a new set of tyres under the safety car. That cost him 3 seconds, cost him the position. But he's head down and balls to the wall is what he said. So, Jimmy, if that's not allowed, text me later and tell me, but, it's there now.
Yeah,
balls to the wall is where Ben is.
I think you are right. Magri's in, looks like pit lane, Brandon O'Loughlin there as well. Where is our boy Bobby Como? I am on the hunt for Bobby at the moment. He is all the way down here in 31st place, mate. In 15th in class is Bobby Como at the moment for Send It Motorsport. But the battle's going to be here, and this is why it's going to be here. We are literally tucked up with the top 4. This is Allen, Jeffrey, Inwood leading the challengers, Butler in behind that as well. A further 1.1 to our initial opening, guiding towards the front end of Mr. Owen Coleman, who was chasing down, started in second place, and he started in fourth, sorry, jumped up to second, made a mistake coming out of Le Mans, and then unfortunately spun up the wheels, and that was it. So lots of action still taking shape here, lots of fighting still going, Pete, and we've got Jeffrey closing in.
Yeah, we do. I'm just looking to see what's going on from race control here, because we've had a black flag for Adam Burhop, issued twice and resumed once. So I'm not sure whether Adam's still carrying a black flag. Adam is the sole driver in P12 yet to pit out of the whole field, currently running P12. So a black flag and a pit stop not yet happened is probably bad news for Adam. But we're just going to find out whether he does have a black flag or not. I'll be back with you very shortly, mate. See if we can get to the bottom of that.
Oh, man, Pete going off doing Pete things again. But Harry Inwood, Jesse Butler all continuing to fight out for that top 4 mark. Harry leading the challengers, doesn't really need to do anything crazy. He's just got to keep it on the track. Now, we checked in earlier on with the guys towards the middle end of the field. Dan Piper, Richard Mayer, Racanello and Tucker. Them 4 are still continuing their little tat-tat-tats that they're having further down. There they are at the moment. There's Piper, there's Mayer, there's Racanello, there's Brant Tucker, all in here. This is going to be movements down into Le Mans. This is going to, into Sunset, sorry, the final corner of the racetrack. This is where we're going to have this action. These guys are continuing to fight. You can see there's movements already out here alongside. Mayer thought about it. Didn't quite go for Piper on this one. Is he going to be able to get in the background? You can see they're continuing now as well. They're side by side with Racanello. Oh, very, very spicy. Managed to make it work. Only just. I believe that was Brian Tucker. They're now going to run 2 wide down into turn 1. Over the start line, we're going to go here. Left-handed, see Brian Tucker on the outside, not making it through this time. But that battle again, Pete's come to fruition. We've got the 3-4 cars all scrapping it out at the front.
No, absolutely. The battle is sensational. But to get to the bottom of it, yes, Adam Burhop does have a drive-through penalty. And so with that, and combined that he hasn't actually done a pit stop yet, he has got a long race ahead of him. So I haven't found the infringement that he's got. But, yeah, bad news for Adam Burhop there, mate.
Yeah, not good. But we've got the 4 running still at the front. We've got Coleman nearly closing in as well. Mason at the moment has got Rue in behind him. Mason there in the Acura, Rue in the Acura as well. And Rue's been challenging along, pushing him along here at the same time. But Rue has got Bottrill in behind that. Brad Coates, who's second in Challenger, wants to stay ahead of Mr. Jamie Saxon. He's got a 1.5 second gap at the moment. Saxon's got Curtis tucked in behind him. We've also got the man we were talking about earlier on, Mr. Provenzali, now up into 12th. He's jumped 10 places gained, and he was 15th when we were talking about him, so he's gained another 3 places for Ricky. Moving on up there, Rick. Moving on up. Let's see if you can get that top 10. But I think this battle up here, Pete, this front battle is just going to explode at some point. It's going to get hotter than a Vindaloo in a curry house. You know what I mean? And this is the situation. It's like Chinese fireworks just waiting for that big bang.
Absolutely. And our leading challenger, Harry Inwood, he's still in there for a podium class as a as a challenger in this field, and I've got to tell you, that is sensational. But mind you, we got Brad Coates in P9 and Jamie Saxon in P10, so we got 3 challengers out of this whole field of 45 cars. So remember, the challengers are supposed to be the slower drivers in these classes, fighting in the top 10, and one of them already on the podium at this stage. But I've got to tell you, Jesse Butler and Owen Coleman, and we know what Owen Coleman's like, mate. Owen Coleman will not rest until he fights you to the end. So Harry's got a fight to go to the end. But there's a whole lot of racing to go, and it's looking like we've got 5 cars vying for 3 positions to get the trophies tonight.
Yeah, I want to know what Inwood's going to do. He clearly got pace. But I'm trying to put this as tactfully as I can here, Pete, which is unusual for me. I've actually thought before I spoke. Has he got the racecraft knowledge to be able to deal with faster classes behind him? Does he need to be fighting Butler? Does he need to be fighting Coleman? Yes, before you all jump on me on YouTube chat, I appreciate the fact if he's got the pace, why not have a go? But what I don't want him seeing doing, Pete, is he has a go and then completely chuffs his race up because he gets involved in an incident or overdrives the car like we saw Chapman do.
I think what you're saying is Inwood doesn't need to fight Jesse Butler, who's right up behind him now, and he doesn't need to fight Owen Coleman if it comes to that, right? So Inwood can win the Challenger class tonight.
Yeah.
Go back to the front. Go for it.
Oh, Jeffrey. Jeffrey went, Allen ran a little bit wide, he ran it in deep, Jeffrey got him. He did get him around sunset. You just saw Trent Allen go in a little bit deep into that final corner. He's now lost that place. We said the gap was closing. It had been closing for the last 5 laps as well. You can see it at the bottom of the screen. Allen was only quicker on lap 22. Look at the pull-in that Jeffrey's done over him. He got half a second on lap 24. It was no surprise he pressurized him into a mistake. Allen did make a mistake. The question's going to be now, is Allen going to pull away because he's got that half-second pace that seems to have every single lap, Pete? I'm interested to see now whether or not Jeffrey is just going to go, see you later, and he's going to pull away from him.
Now, don't forget, Ben Jeffrey admitted to having tyres checked, which means Ben's got tyres that are a stint younger than the others. He's got tyres that are 13 laps younger than everybody else. I expect now Ben Jeffrey to be able to pull away and make a little bit of a gap out of this. Now, let me come back to Harry Inwood, right? Does he race Jesse? Does he race Owen? He does because he can right now. But does he race him to the point where it causes a crash and loses lots of positions? That's where race intellect comes into it. Because no, he doesn't have to do it. But up until the point where they're really battling him and it's going to cause an incident, he's right to be there. And I think he should be there and try and take a podium if he's got it. But what I don't think, if it comes up to it and it's like, if you're Jesse Butler, it's how much aggression do you put on Harry Inwood, knowing that he doesn't actually have to fight me and I can get the podium? That's the question. So is the question on Harry or is the question on Jesse and Owen?
I want to sit here and say, we normally always say, Pete, the emphasis is on the faster car.
Trent Allen has just gone round in sunset.
He was looking loose over the last lap. We saw him running deep. I think there's going to be a bump in here somewhere. Just about there. Upsets the car. And Allen has gone round. Everybody makes it through on him. He managed to get to 7th. He goes off the racing line to get the car going. He knows that nobody should be out that far unless you're Trent Allen and you made a mistake on the last lap. But Allen has gone round. That is it. And do you know what, Pete? All of that work he's done, all of everything that Trent Allen has done now has just gone poof like Harry Potter up a chimney, because he's now got an hour, and how is he going to get back when, 1, he's made that mistake, 2, he's heated his tyres, and 3, Pete, I've got to be honest, he didn't look like he had quite the pace to stay up at the front end with him.
Well, he didn't, and he's 3 seconds more in the pit stop in deficit for the next pit stop anyway, so, according to most of the people that we've seen. I think what's cost Trent is he didn't change tyres in the first stop. Now, I'm going to let me throw that back to you, right? So all of the other pit stops were done at the 30-minute mark. So can all of the other cars go 90 minutes without changing tyres at the next stop?
Right.
So do we now need to see cars' tyres at the next stop, or are we going to see a little bit more of what happened to Trent Allen to some of the other cars that are leading after the next stop if they don't change tyres? So that's the question that's come to my mind right now. Is this a 3-set tyre race, or is this a 2-set tyre race? Do you double stint them and take that risk or not?
Right, having run 12 hours at Sebring, I will tell you now that we were double stinting the tyres. The question is, the normal saying goes, and this is, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but this is what I've been told from the very beginning of joining iRacing, unless the race is over an hour, you don't need to change tyres because the tyres will last for that long. If the race is over an hour, if you say you've got a 2-hour race, in hindsight, you should only need to change tyres once, if you can. But there's a lot of factors that then come into it. The 35 degrees C track temperature we've got going on is not going to help. The asphalt that the Sebring track's on is also not going to help. It's a big scrubber of tyres. There's lots of other things. I personally, if I've known that Jeffrey's changing tyres and I was the guys in behind him, I would then go into the next stop and change tyres, because I would have a 50-50 shot that Jeffrey's not going to touch his tyres going into that final pit stop. If I haven't touched tyres in the first pit stop, me personally, I would go and change tyres for the second one, just to make sure I've got Jeffrey covered if he then does go and change tyres once more. But at the moment, it's very hit and miss whether or not it's going to be 2 sets or even maybe even one. But I think who knows how they're going to feel. They only know, Pete, realistically, don't they? The drivers know that if they've got that grip there, they know if they're dropping off the pace. You know, if all of a sudden they're doing a 2:02.5 and they've been doing 2:01.2, they know something's wrong. So it would be driver preference, but me personally, I would, regardless if I had it in the first one, I would definitely change tyres in the second one.
Yeah, but mate, to be honest, let's think about a 12-hour, right? A 12-hour is 6 of these races back to back.
Yep.
And you and I both done them. And I remember 2 years ago I did a Sebring 12-hour, and the lead GT3 that 1 hour race triple stinted tyres, so 3 hours on a set of tyres. So we know that the GT3 tyre model is good to go, but are they doing the almost sprint race laps in this race that in a 12-hour you might be just a little bit more subtle and smooth and just cop yourself an extra half second a lap? Because it's not so much going fast, it's about managing the position you're in the race when it's that long. I'd say that right now, these guys will be pushing the car a lot harder than anybody in the 12-hour will be pushing over the course of that. And whilst a double stint and a triple stint and a 12-hour is all fair game and well and go, and that's gone now because iRacing lets us change tyres at the same time we refuel. Absolute loss in my mind in terms of endurance racing. I think iRacing made an absolute mistake, but they're following the model that IMSA gives us in real life. So that's fair. But in terms of tyre strategy now, in terms of Ben Jeffrey taking tyres when everybody else he thinks didn't take tyres, we don't know that they didn't. He just said that he had his tyres clicked, right? So we don't know that others didn't change tyres anyway. Has that made a difference? Did the rest of the field stay on warm tyres, come out after the safety car, and are now going to do tyre strategy in the second pit stop, which gives them fresh tyres to the end? I think that puts Ben at a disadvantage, but right now he's in an advantage and he can pull away from the field. All right. Trent Allen having a spin, that's done Trent a whole lot of harm, and I see Trent's now down into what looks like P23, so he's dropped right down.
Got into the pits again.
He's gone into the pits again. Yep. So he's done another pit stop. 1 hour 8 left to go. Not sure that's enough to get him to the end, but he's probably realised he's burned his tyres. So that's game over for Trent in terms of podium positions. I think it's now just about recovering a good position. But so tyres, special thing in GT3s. And you take a 40-minute race different. Do you take a 2-hour race? Do you take a 12-hour race? So.
Well, you can safely say there's been people in pit lane, and the first of them is Aaron Raccanello. He is pitted twice for Aaron at the moment, and I'm wondering whether or not the situation will be for him. We've also got Dan Piper, who's got 2 stops under his belt. I think Stefan Mellis has also got 2 stops under his belt as well. There are them on the left-hand side. You can see Bottrell's got 2, Rui's got 2, Mayor's got 4, Brado's got 2. So there's a lot of people taking pit stops at the moment here, Pete, at times when I think, to be blatantly honest, me and you were not expecting them to be so early.
I don't think... No, I think Raccanello and Piper are lap 1 pitters, mate. I don't think they've done the second, what I would call the race pit stop.
Yeah, Trent Allen.
The lead I've got in the latest pit stop for the race is Trent Allen in P23. Everybody else ahead of Trent has done 15 or 16 laps now on the set of tyres since the last pit stop. So Trent, for me, is the lead of the last pitters. I think the 2s that you're reading are guys that have come in early in the race after lap 1 or 2 after an incident, and that's why they've got a second stop. So Trent Allen currently is that man who is the first of the last stoppers, let me say.
Yeah, you can see that on the laps on the left-hand side. You can see pit laps on the left. Say Allen pitted on lap 26, so only 4 laps ago. We did kind of predict in a way that he probably would go in at some point because he had burnt up his tyres and literally fried them in that spin. That, however, has left this man under a whole heap of decisions now, because what do we think fuel's going to last for, Pete? Do we think 45 minutes, maybe 50 at a push? Can they get the remaining 55?
No, I think we're 35 to 40. 60% fuel tank, mate. We are 42 minutes max. I don't think we're going to go much beyond 43, even with the safety car. So I'm expecting that we've probably got another 10 minutes of fuel for everybody to get to the end. If they're coming in earlier, I'm expecting that they're going to have to do a splash and dash before the end. And that could create a whole lot of entertainment for us, right? We could have somebody well and truly out the front, but they might need to come in and do a splash and dash. And, if you're fuel saving now, you want to have sort of thought about that, because that first safety car was what I would have considered to be 8 to 10 minutes earlier than ideal. And 8 to 10 minutes over 90 minutes is doable in a fuel save. But you've got to have committed to that from the start of that safety car. And maybe there's some guys out there that are doing that in the driving tonight, but we haven't picked them up yet because it's pretty hard to pick someone fuel saving. And we won't do that until somebody comes out and they're pitted like 4 laps later or 2 laps later than anybody else. So they haven't come to the fore yet, but there could be somebody out there doing that now.
No, I agree with you. I think it's going to be very hard to determine. My only interesting thought of what you said there, Pete, is I'm wondering if the people that didn't take tyres in the first stop have had to pit early because they haven't got anything left on the tyres. The likes of Trent Allen, we saw the spin, he's gone in and got changed. And I'm wondering if a few of these others, like Racanello's back in, Greentree's back in, Nominson's back in, they might have the fuel, but did they have the tyres to be able to stay where they were? And I'm wondering whether or not all of these people that have pitted from 26 to now, that in theory will have to go again and pit stop again because the fuel isn't going to get in there. I'm wondering if they didn't change tyres over that first stop, and by this point their tyres are done and they had nothing left.
Yeah, no, that's potentially accurate there, JP. And like I said, we don't know who actually changed tyres or not, other than we know that Ben sort of opened up when I jumped in and had a chat in the team. So maybe they did, but in my mind,
Jeffrey's in pit lane. Surely he's early.
I think they're all early, but like I said, the safety car was early. So the 60% is 40, right? In terms of fuel,
in hindsight,
the safety car was at 30, so the whole race is 10 minutes early, which means nearly everybody might need a splash and dash, JP.
Which then leaves
us
in
fuel management.
Yeah,
fuel management.
Complete and utter chaos. Because I can tell you what, after this one, I've got a funny feeling there's going to be about 6 cars with Carrick got in as well, saving fuel here. Anybody who's not saved fuel, Coates out in front, Saxon, great for the challengers. 2 challengers leading the field at the moment. So go Brad Coates, go Jamie Saxon. Have fun while you're out there, boys. Don't crash into each other, though, because you are live, and we will see it forever. On that one. So, hey, look, I'm picking about challengers leading the field, mate. I think that's amazing that they're having their, their moments. Obviously, once they go in pit lane, it will be at the, back in where they are in position. 34 degrees at the moment, Cher. Will that affect tyres? Between the heat and the makeup of what the surface is at Sebring and the bumpiness, and I think has a lot to do with it. And how you drive, of course. Let's not forget, if you're late braking, locking up, scrubbing the tyres, trying to turn faster than you need to, it all affects. You can see people on the left-hand side going down the order. That's because Carrick, Burhoff, Bobby Camo and Matt Norris have all gone in pit lane. So they're going to drop down as well. But these two out in front, these challengers having a great old battle pit.
No, absolutely. And look, shout out again to Jamie Saxon, who I jumped in with qualifying and, had his head down and, as a challenger, got up to P12 in qualifying and did his best lap and, was full on in it. So him and Brad Coates have been out the front there and taken their share of the TV and the broadcast coverage off the elite guys. Go for it, challengers. You rip as much of this time as you can off those other boys because they get way too much time. And good to see the boys out there having a good time. See who comes in the pits. Both of them in the pits, JP.
Yeah, both of them together. So where is that going to leave Glenn or not at the moment? He's the one sitting in position with McMiniman, with Piper, with Butler. We've got Jeffrey. He's towards the back end. You've just seen him come around the last corner. He's going to be the lead car after the pit stop cycle. Diving in there, diving in.
I got Jesse Butler as the lead car after the pit cycle. Jesse Butler is currently leading Ben Jeffrey by 1.6 seconds.
He jumped him in the pit.
Yeah, jumped him in the pit.
He did, yeah. 5 seconds. Butler was faster than Ben Jeffrey on pit stops. So that to me kind of states that Jesse didn't take tyres this time around, but it looks like Ben Jeffrey may have done. Is that how I'm working this one, Pete? I think.
So here's a thought, right? Real nasty, right? Here's a thought. The guys are listening on the broadcast. Somebody didn't take tyres and saved 3 seconds in the pit stop. So now others are not taking tyres and they're going to risk the rest of the race on worn tyres because Pete Baxter broadcast it on the pit stop. And now they're in front, but they've got fresh tyres to get to chase them down. I don't know. Could that happen? Would you do it?
I would have changed. I would have changed tyres knowing that Jeffrey was going to change tyres to basically cover him off. You need the thing is as well, as we've said, with the heat, the driving, the surface, the scrubbing, the bumps, everything at any point, this is going to close up. We'll keep an eye on these two. They're 1.5 seconds apart at the moment. Just want to pick up on the fact that Jamie Saxon, although when in pit lane was leading the field with Brad Coates, they have come out, it's still in the top 10. So we've got 3 challengers in the top 10 at the moment. Harry Inwood sitting in 4th overall, Jamie Saxon sitting in 10th, and Brad Coates sitting in 8th. So a great job from all of the challengers, the leading 3 on that one. I would also like to pick up at the same time, we've got 5 challengers inside the top 15. Kurt Chapman and Greg Heaney. So even the challengers here, Pete, with practice at Sebring, are making their stance. They're telling everybody in and around them, look, we can hang with you and we're going to hang with you. And in Harry Inwood's case, he's here saying, well, look, I'm going to beat most of you.
No, let's not underestimate. There's something that's different about this round that we haven't talked about yet, right? That is not normally the case in the Premier Endurance League, right? Because most of the rounds in the Premier Endurance League are the GT3 cars on tracks where GT3 cars don't go. But what we've got this round is we've got GT3 cars on Sebring 2 weeks before iRacing has GT3 cars on Sebring for a 12-hour. And they've had them on all the time. So unusually for PEL, we've got a track where there's lots of setups available across the world for people to get to and to try and test. Has that changed the ability of some of the challengers that don't necessarily have access to top-level teams here and some of the extraordinary special things they do in setups? Has that changed some of their ability to get a better setup and get a little bit more pace in this race? And that's why we're seeing 5 challengers in the top 15. I reckon that's got a little bit of part to play with it.
Oh, that's what happened. I'm sorry to cut you off, Pete. I couldn't work out why Ricky had gone and disappeared in pit lane, and he's been in there for about 20 minutes. Now, we remember talking about earlier on, Steve Allen had spun, and I believe it was him again. It was, watch, rejoin, bang, straight round, and puts the boss in the wall. If you don't ever want to do that, that's like grabbing hold of your boss at work and giving him a chin because you think it's a good idea. Probably not the best idea. That put Ricky out of the race. He is now sitting in pit lane and he's been in there for a very, very long time. So I couldn't work out why all of a sudden what happened to Ricky, but I can tell you one thing. You don't take out the boss regardless, and not with a 0 IQ moment rejoin there from Steve Allen.
Let's leave it at that. Let's not make any point about Ricky being the boss. That was a 0 IQ rejoin. And Steve, have a look back at that. We're going to call it out for what it is, mate. Terrible rejoin, absolute lack of awareness, and you've taken somebody out of the race. Let's focus. Let's get on with the race now. We've said our piece, and unfortunately, I've hung enough shit on Jimmy, mate, tonight that we were trying to back Ricky up so that I still got paid. We might not get that now, but anyway, we'll see.
It's really hard, right? Because you want to sit here and you want to emphasise, and we do emphasise, and that's the thing. But I can tell you one thing. We'll see what comes out of it, whether or not there's penalties coming back. We'll leave it in the hands of RC. Me and Pete will shut up and move on and deal with what we've got in front of us. And what we've got in front of us at the moment is Piper and Greentree looking at fighting it out further down. Racanello's in there at the same time. Matt Carrick's in there as well. These guys continuing to fight here. This middle section of pack. This is 17th, 18th, 19th. All battling it out with Greentree, so they're still fighting all the way through. If you have got a driver and you do want to have a look, let us know what's going on. Coleman here over Inwood. So Coleman has gone in front. Inwood's now down into 4th place. Still not bad for Harry Inwood. He's still got 5 cars in between him and Brad Coates, who is back with Jamie Saxon again, Pete. And their guys are back fighting like they were before they went in for the pits.
Yeah, but they're still in the top 10, mate. So we've still got 3 challengers in the top 10. Like Harry Inwood's up there. He's just off the podium right now. Jesse Butler's still hanging out the front with a 1.3 second gap. But they got a good gap between Jesse and Ben. Good gap between them and Owen. Owen Coleman is fighting off Harry Inwood. Harry's not giving him anything. But, yeah, we've got Brad Coates and Jamie Saxon there fighting for the top 10. But not far away, mate. Just in 11th, Rue Koistra and Kurt Chapman, Greg Heaney. 2 other challengers we haven't talked a lot about tonight, just off the back of them for the top 10. A little bit of a gap there from Jamie Saxon to Rue Koistra. But, the guys there are in for a good show. And who knows what happens with the safety car coming.
If it comes.
If it comes.
It's like putting your money on the lottery, saying, I'm going to win this week, piling your week's wages, and you come away with a tenner. You know what I mean? It's pointless. You're not going to put £300 on and then walk away with 10 quid because you've decided to gamble it all. That's kind of what you're trying to do. If you are gambling for a safety car, you are in for a shock if it doesn't happen. If I was at Talladega with NASCAR doing 200 miles an hour and I can guarantee there's going to be another yellow between now and the next 45 minutes. Can I guarantee that we're going to have a yellow and a safety car here? No, I can't. And I wouldn't if I was a driver. I would literally just drive and drive and drive until I can't drive anymore, until I either get the safety car, Pete, or I don't. I would literally not even worry about it for a minute. Just drive as much as you can and get that gap all at the same time. That's what I would personally be looking at this moment in this stint with 40 minutes to go.
No, absolutely. Now, we called out some zero IQ bonus, mate. But I'm watching this racing between Brad Coates and Jamie and Saxon. And I'll tell you what, it's fantastic racing. Brad is giving Jamie every bit of room he needs, but he's putting the car in the right position to make him go the long way around. And every part of the move is all fair. It's all good racing. It's all great track management. It's all saying, if you've got it, you can have it, champ, but you've got to get it the hard way. You've got to get around me. But there's no bump and grind. There's no little nudges. It's I'm defending and Jamie is racing. And the pressure's now on Jamie. He's got to find a way. He's got to find a way to come out of a corner faster. He's got to find a way, not necessarily to go in, just come out of a corner faster, get a little bit of run, a little bit of a draft somewhere and get inside. But what Brad's doing is he's just putting the car where he's making Jamie go the long way around. Really, really good racing between the two. Keeps the race controllers out of it, but gives us an absolute classic as the cars go side by side through Sunset, back on the pit straight, and they'll race each other towards the first 10. JP, over to you, mate.
Oh, they can see now on board with Saxon coming in. We're coming into turn number 1. We're going to lip for the kink in the wall on the right-hand side. Now we're going to start our rotation. Little dab of the brakes, get the car settled, onto the gas we're going to go. There is a car in front of us as well. That is Isaac Curtis. The question is for Saxon, is he going to be able to get this at the moment? Is he going to want to just sit there and hold lines? Because I think both men pitting on lap 31, there was only 5 laps to go. That was 10 minutes to go. They're probably going to have to do another splash and dash, which at the moment we think the whole field's going to have to do, which could make this a very, very spicy situation. One of the things we haven't picked up on, Pete, is currently at the moment, Kurt Chapman and Greg Heaney have not had their second stop. They pitted on lap 20 and 19 respectively. We talked about during the safety car for not actually pitting during the safety car, but have they now pulled a master stroke while everybody's splashing dashing, they get to go past them?
Well, it's going to surprise me, but the thing is they've got a long stop to go. Everybody else has got a short stop to go. So there's still a delta difference that they lost out on by not fueling up under the safety car that they'll have to pay at some stage in this race. Now, it mightn't be until the last 5 laps of the race or the last 5 minutes of the race when everybody comes in and does what is effectively a drive-through with maybe a 5 or 10 second stop for fuel. But these guys are going to have a 40-second stop. So they've still got that fuel delta that they have to pay. It's looking good for them at the moment, but I still think they've got to pay a penalty yet for what I would call an indiscretion not pitting under that first stop.
Well, I'll tell you what, two people, Matt Norris has made a problem for himself. Richard Mayer has also had an issue. Where have we seen this? If we're going to see Trent Allen do it, I think I'm no surprise to see other people in that Ford Mustang do the same thing. What about Richard Mayer? What has he got himself up to? He's coming down into the hairpin. Ooh, it's quite late on the brakes.
Ooh, I've just heard safety car get called, JP. I've just heard the safety car get called.
Trying to find it. I think it was Goodfella and possibly Dale Atkins, because this is the last recognisable moment. Nope, it wasn't. Was it there? Oh, it was there.
Oh,
bro. It was there. Now, this is who is this going to save, Pete? Is it going to save the fact that Chapman is just in early? They've all got in early here as well, but the leaders were past the pit lane. They've not pitted.
That's all right. The safety car in cycle will get them, right? So the leaders will still come around at race pace. This saves everyone. All of those that needed a splash and dash will do that splash and dash now. Anybody else that hasn't pitted, they will come in and do their pit stop. This is now going to normalise the race, and we're going to see where everybody else is. So there's going to be no question mark now, because this will get everybody to the end. Absolute no doubt about it. Now, if you don't stop here, JP, you probably need to come to the Pete Baxter School of Race Strategy, because I tell you what, this would be the dumbest thing ever if you don't stop under this safety car to get to the end.
I've got a problem that I'm going to think about here for a minute, and I'm going to put it out there. If Butler goes in pit lane, which is what we think's coming, and the next lot in front of him, which is what we think coming, the pace car's waiting at the end of the pit lane for the leader. He ain't going to be the leader. He's going to peel in. So who is the pace car going to pick up if the leader's got into the pits? Because he can't wait there again for another lap until they go round again, can he? Coleman's in.
No, it'll be the first car that doesn't go into the pits. So all cars, P1, 2, 3, 4 so far, go into the pits. P5 has not gone in the pits. That is James Mason. So the safety car's going to get going. He'll pick up James Mason, who'll be the leader of the race. So here we go. He's about to do it. Well, I don't know. That's not a question for me, but that's it. So safety car's picked up James, and there we go. He's the rightful leader of the race. Safety car's done everything spot on there. Hasn't held up any other cars. Why James Mason didn't go in, I have no idea. He's been out there for 8 laps, hasn't done anything. He probably can't get to the end. Elite class 3, 4, 5. Absolute strange strategy. Let me see if I can find out. I'll be back.
We sent our very own pit lane reporter Pete Baxter off to find out why Mason did not pit. Seems very, very strange that he wouldn't have pitted. I am surprised that the more that pitted earlier on that got the jump on the first set have still come out in behind the people who are later in the pit stops. You know, the next lap round. I'm still quite shocked that they haven't managed to pass him, but they haven't. Because at the moment, we've still got Jeffrey sitting in second place. We've still got Butler in third, effectively, on the road. Coleman fourth, Inwood. Now, the question's going to be for Harry Inwood. He's going to have Brad Coates and Jamie Saxon tucked him right behind him. So Harry Inwood's comfortable hour and 40 minutes that he has, or hour and 25 minutes that he has had, is now not going to be so comfortable for Harry Inwood, because he's going to have Brad Coates and Jamie Saxon in behind. So that's going to be something that we're going to keep an eye on as well, because this battle in Challenger has now just got really, really spicy with the fact that the 3 leaders in Challengers are together on the racetrack. Pick up on one of the things that we are going to notice as well. Trent Allen has got himself back up into 9th place. Isaac Curtis is in 8th place. So Allen's managed to break now back into the top 10 after his earlier spin. But I can tell you what, Harry Inwood's comfortable run that he has had has just gone out the window, because Coates and Saxon's in behind him. Pete's back with me in the booth as well. What do we know about Mason?
Hey, James Mason, absolutely no race preparation whatsoever, winging it to the end of the end of life, and he's still got one more stop to come. Has no idea whether other cars can make it to the end. That's James's words, and he just thought he'd roll the dice and get out there and have a good time.
Fair play. One of the things, Pete, Harry Inwood's comfortable run with Coates and Saxon now behind him.
Oh yeah, that's the Challenger class has come alive, hasn't it? That is going to be awesome. Yeah, and like I said, I mean, despite James's thoughts, and I did say to James, my thoughts are every other car behind you can make it to the end, and you get a splash and dash. And he's, well, we'll cop that if we can. He's, absolutely no strategy, Pete. He said, and that's fine. Good on him. But he's having a good time and a good laugh, and good on him. He's out in the front there and hoping he can hold off Ben Jeffrey and give us a show. But to see the Challenger class 5, 6, 7 in the top 10, we haven't seen this yet in Premier Endurance League. JP, our Challenger class is so high up. And not only that, so close together, and we know that they've got a race on their hands together.
Yeah, it's going to be a straight sprint now.
Fantastic.
Going to find out. Pace car lights are still on, so they're going to go for one more lap here at the same time. Pretty much everybody has pitted. You can see all the cars there prepped and ready to go. They have all pitted. We're going to go one more lap anyway. Mason is going to lead the field round for one more lap here as we're going into 1:27. We've got 33 minutes on the clock remaining. So 33 minutes for these guys to, well, sit and chill. There goes the wave around.
That's right. While James is on screen, mate, I will tell you that he's got the Mark Foster lime green paint. So he must have an extra 2 laps of fuel credits just by having the lime thick shake paint on the car and having those special colours that Premier Endurance League bring to me every time I get to commentate.
Oh, there we go. We're going to find out, aren't we? Whether or not he is or not. But wave arounds are taking place at this moment in time. There they go. There's another one shooting around here outside. That is 38, 40 and 41. So that is currently Shane Benici, Brant Johnson, Matt Webber. And 37, which is Braden O'Loughlin, has also just passed the safety cars. So they've got to get round and try and get onto the back of the pack. Safety car isn't exactly going fast, so they might be okay for that one. Again, big shout out to our Print Racer safety car down there in the bottom right corner, have joined us for the sponsoring the safety car this season. So amazing job for them, and obviously a big thanks to Dash Off-Road, our primary sponsor of the old season this season as well, along with Sudspeed being another one of the group. It's great to have you all on board, and much love for coming to join us for this season. It's going to be a fun one, Pete, and I think at the moment there's going to be a couple of shocks. It's going to have more twists and drama than an episode of Neighbours. I think we've all got it coming here this season, because I think there's going to be a lot for all of us to try and decipher.
There's still a few more things to come. I think there's still some great racing ahead. But I'm going to tell you, mate, I don't know if you've had a look at the Dash Off-Road website, but Australians at the moment are absolutely in love with off-roading four-wheel drives, SUVs, those sorts of cars, right? And the accessory market has gone nuts. And so to have someone like Dash Off-Road on with us, and I had a look at their website across the various ranges and the various makes that they supply for, mate, just about everything. If you want to go off-road, you want to go outback, what they can provide is just like, it covers anything, and it's full-on competition. So it was when I looked at it, I thought, mate, how good is it to have something that is so prolific in Australia backing sim racing. So good on the guys from Dash Off-Road. Great to have you on board. I'm not a four-wheel driver. I'm not buying the products, but I had a look at the range, and I could see what they can provide in Australia compared to all the competition. And I think it's an absolute bloody blast to have somebody that strong on board with Premier Endurance League.
Yeah, see, the thing is, Pete, you get excited by the accessories, right? And everything that you can have on your truck and in your car or whatever. Me, I'm a cap collector, so I went straight to the caps, and I can even get myself a Dash Off-Road cap hat. I dread to think what the postage would be and getting it here to the UK. But if anybody's listening from Dash Off-Road, look, I'm open to bribes. I'll quite happily have a cab. You know, just give me a shout. Let me know. If not, I'll have to see what the postage is. Maybe buy myself one. But a Dash Off-Road cap in grey with red writing does look rather sexy. I'm not going to lie. So there we go. Back to the action. Pace car lights have gone off this time, so we are going to be going green. 30 minutes remaining. And James Mason is leading the field, the winging it, the maverick of the race this evening. He doesn't know what's going on. He's just driving and he's found himself out in front. He's got no pit stop strategy whatsoever. He hasn't got a clue about anything. He's just in the car and absolutely winging it. So there we go.
Go early, JP. You've got to be going early, right?
Oh, mate, I would literally hold him in that last corner. I'd get halfway round Sunset and I'd be gone. I would literally...
Go now.
Yep, I would. I would literally be on the verge of braking right now. That's where I'd go. I'd have to go there because I couldn't hold him going into that last corner. I'd be into that first corner. I'd be in deep trouble. Go, son. And it looks
he's
like
on.
he has the air.
James, yep, he's on. He's on the exit. That is good driving. Yeah, pull away. Draw the field out. Yeah, good on you, James. Go get him, buddy.
Oh, here we go. This is where it's all going to be dramatic now. Is Mason going to be able to hold that inside line? Jeffrey's turned around and said I was going for it. He has. Coming into turn 2, we've still got Jeffrey. He's going to have another look at Mason. Mason's covering that line off again. Through turn 2, through 3, through the left-hander of 4. Now we've got the run down Gurney Bend. Is this going to be Mason's opportunity to start pulling away? He really needed Coleman to put Jeffrey under pressure at the moment. Coleman didn't manage to do that. Jeffrey's now coming at Mason, coming into the hairpin. Later on the brakes, you can see how Jeffrey... Oh, Butler's got it wrong. Oh, Butler. Oh, my dearie me. He didn't come by postal service. He come by FedEx on an aeroplane. He come from that far back. Jesse Butler with a move on Owen Coleman that must have absolutely scared the living doodies out of Coleman because I didn't think he was getting it stopped. Coleman's scared that much he sent it off the circuit. That was it. Coleman's run off into the field. He's had enough. Butler scared him. And Coleman is gone. He is dropping down the order for Owen Coleman. 13, 14, 15, 16. He's still going. He's plunging faster than an elevator with no brakes is Owen Coleman. And that one moment there, Pete, when Butler went in, I tell you what, Butler would have scared the living doodies out of me as well, Pete, sending it from that far back. Coleman tried to do the return on the favour, couldn't get it done and sent himself off the racetrack.
Mate, that is such an anti-Owen Coleman move. The dude is such a cool and sweet driver and drives so well. But to come back like that and go off the track, I'm just going to have a look at it. Yeah, was a bit of a dive, little bit of door banging. Nothing really in there. I'm surprised that Owen's going as hard as he can back into the next corner. It's just, that is such an anti-Coleman move.
Isn't it? He did it.
Oh, no, he's like Owen's. I just watched it back. It looks like Owen is he's been tucked right up to the back of the Porsche and he's just missed the braking marker, maybe only by about 10 or 20 metres, mate, but it's enough for him to actually have to throw the car to the right, and that's what's taken all of the braking efficiency out of the car and put him on the grass, and from there he's a dead duck down to P15 or 16, wherever he is now. So, really, really unfortunate. Look, he's done the right thing because he didn't put Jesse Butler, he didn't get right into the back of Jesse Butler and push him off the car. So, good driving by Owen Coleman, unlucky. But no, he's done. Let's shout out for the good driving at self-sacrifice. But he's got a long way to go to fight back. But hey, James Mason's still out the fight and out the front and fighting well. When I had a chat with James, he said about 8 laps of fuel to go. So he's going to be here for a good 15, 16 minutes, mate, before he comes in for a splash and dash. Let's see if Ben Jeffrey can actually do anything about him.
Yeah, I love Greg Brooks is coming on YouTube. Good on Mason. What a champ, as long as he's having fun. Well, he clearly is. One man that's also going to be in having fun at the moment is Harry Inwood, because I can tell you now, he's got Coates and Saxon not far behind. What Saxon doesn't want is that Porsche of Isaac Curtis putting him under pressure here, because Saxon wants to go forward. He does not want to be dealing with Isaac Curtis in behind him. He cannot afford to. because he knows he's got Coates and Inwood in front of that as well. If he drops off or loses places, Curtis is going to make mincemeat of him and have a go. That's going to put him further back away from the two challengers in front of Coates and Inwood. Inwood was looking a little bit raggedy on that last lap as well. He did get a little bit of a slide on that brought Coates right into the back of him at the moment. The Coates here has just got to keep pushing Inwood under pressure. This is the first time we've seen Inwood under pressure from somebody from his own class. Let's not forget, he was not near anyone from his class for that entire first hour and 25, hour and 30 minutes. Now he is. This is Coates' opportunity here, Pete, to really see what Inwood's made of, whether or not Inwood's going to be able to handle this.
So if Inwood wouldn't pull over for an elite class guy, do you think he's under pressure from a challenger class guy? I think that the pressure is probably the same. I think Harry Inwood is just neglecting any difference between elite and challenger, and he is just fighting for the best position he can get in the race. And I don't think for Inwood right now, or even during the race, it's really mattered whether it's been challenger or elite class. I think Harry's just out there driving. Otherwise, he might have pulled over, and we talked about whether he did or not under pressure, or whether guys looked at it, but he sat there and he held his course and he held his line, every right that he had to. But now after the pit stop cycle, he's finding himself just a little bit down, and now he's got to fight with the other challenger classes. Is that on his mind, or is it just, hey, I'm still sitting here in fourth? James Mason, he's got a pit stop to go, which nearly everybody in the field that pitted would know that James didn't pit because they would have seen him go past a relative, right? So Harry's still sitting on a podium position. I don't think he's worried about a challenger lead. I think he's worried about a podium position.
I reckon, I don't know, Pete. I tell you what we'll do. We'll keep an eye. If in the next 5 laps, Inwood's made a mistake because he's got Coates right up behind him, then we know what the situation was. Everybody feels pressure, right? That, unless you're Kimi Räikkönen and you're driving up through Kemmel Straight at 200 miles an hour for a cloud of smoke. But everybody generally feels pressure. I reckon Inwood, the pressure is to a degree on him, but I think for Coates and Saxon, they're the ones that are going to stay with this guy who absolutely decimated him in qualifying. He decimated him for the first hour and 25 minutes. It's now down to them to try and stay with him as well. So although we sit here and think pressure on Inwood, yes, pressure on Coates and Saxon, absolutely, because they need to stay with a very fast flying Mercedes. James Mason at the moment is staying in front of a very fast flying Mercedes in the hands of Ben Jeffrey. And Mason, as we know, didn't pit, didn't do anything, winged it, 8 laps of fuel to go. He's going to be there for about another 10, maybe 12 minutes at the moment. Jeffrey can't get through. Mason's driving how Mason needs to drive. He's putting the car in the right place. He's getting his entries and exits correct. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if he stayed there until his pit stop.
Oh, I think James will stay out there till his pit stop. Why not? He's got the limelight, he's got the lead. Get out there, and he's just running out and having a good time. I'll tell you what Inwood hasn't got that Coates has got, Jamie Saxon. Jamie Saxon has been on the tail of Coates the whole race, and we've watched them side by side in corners fighting and fighting and fighting. Inwood hasn't had to deal with that yet during the race. He's just had to deal with the other elite cars getting around him, not necessarily fighting for position. But Coates and Saxon, they've been going hell for leather for position pretty much the whole race. So if Inwood keeps his eyes forward, Coates has got to also have his eye on the mirror, and that's an advantage that Inwood has over Brad Coates right now.
Do you think Saxon's going to fight Coates? Or do you think Saxon knows he's got to stay with him? Now, that Greg has just pointed out a great point in YouTube chat as well. It's not the fact that we've got Inwood. It's not the fact that we've got Coates. It's not the fact that we've got Saxon. It's the fact that we've got a recovering Trent Allen now, who's going to bring himself into this. We know what Trent's mistake was. He made it going around the last corner, burnt up his tyres, went in pit lane, ended up down 16th, 17th, 18th, I think it was. Are we now going to see Allen go and spoil a party? Is he going to be the man that drops a joke and nobody laughs at and then stops the conversation? Or is he going to... Oh, well, that answers... No, it doesn't quite answer my question, but I've got a funny feeling Saxon... I don't really know. Saxon's got a tough choice. He knows he needs to go forward, but he's also got Allen. Does he let Allen go and let Allen go and disrupt the other two? Let Allen do it. I think, me personally, I would let Allen go and disrupt the other two for me, bring them back into my clutches so I can have a go here. That's what I would do. I wouldn't be fighting Trent Allen now if I was Saxon. I would let him go.
No, I think Jamie's done exactly what you said. I think he's done the right thing. Now, remember, what we're watching here is we're watching two different classes. We're watching Trent Allen from the elite class try to get through the podium positions of the challenger classes. Now, if you're really, really smart as a driver, you're doing that. And in Jamie Saxon's case, it's like, well, actually, to be honest, I'm not really racing Trent Allen. If I get him in front of me and I can just tuck up behind him and try to stay with him, knowing that Trent's always going to be a little bit faster anyway, then I will let Trent put the pressure on Brad Coates that my pressure hasn't yet made him fold. And maybe, just at a little bit of little hope, Trent Allen puts Brad Coates under that extreme bit of pressure that changes the outcome between the two. That's my thoughts if I'm Jamie Saxon. Now, if I'm Trent Allen, I'm going, oh, these guys are going to let me go, or are they fighting for the outright position and the ultimate points? Because to be honest, even though they're challengers, they're allowed to fight for the ultimate position and the overall points. Now, I say again with Brad Coates, do you let Trent Allen go and let Trent try to put it on Harry Inwood? But if you do, then you've actually given away Jamie Saxon's game. But we see now that Jamie's actually dropping off Trent a little bit. He hasn't been able to, even though he's let him go, he hasn't been able to keep up with Trent. So there is the difference in either setup or driver ability that is pretty clear between elite and challenger right now, even though our challengers are right up there fighting in the top 10.
How far is Allen going to go? We think he'll get Coates. Inwood's been quick and not really allowed anybody to go past. Do we think he's going to get Inwood in this situation? But it was imperative for Saxon to stay a little bit closer, and he hasn't managed to do that. So that's a little bit of worry. Jeffrey, Butler, Mason have just lost 2 places. Ah, he's going to run wide, isn't he? Yep. There's one. Oh, no, there was contact.
No, a bit of a touch. Oh, and that's been called the race control too, mate. They're going to have a look at that. Oh, that might be deemed a bump and run there, JP.
Maybe a punt to pass.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Jeffrey's let the position back. Jeffrey has given the position back, so maybe he might have just saved himself a penalty there, bud. And he may have just done a good job to hold on to that.
Now, there might be a technical component there because sometimes redresses aren't allowed if another car gets advantage from the whole incident and there's still a penalty to come. So we'll see what happens out of that. But yeah, obviously Ben's, he's taken a little bit of responsibility for that straight away. He's just lifted and he's let Mason back in front. But Butler's been the main gainer out of all of that, mate. Jesse Butler's just back out the front.
Yeah. So we'll keep an eye and see now, but has Jeffrey just saved himself a penalty by allowing Mason to go back through? The problem is that's brought Inwood into it. Inwood's brought Coates in. Allen's come back in, and Saxon is now back onto the back end. So that top 7 at the moment are separated by not a lot of time here. I can tell you it's just barely 3.6 seconds, which you may sit there and go, oh, that's loads, but in conjunction, it's not, considering we've got Allen upsetting the flow in the challenger lead here because they were obviously all fighting out 1, 2, and 3, and then Allen has jumped Saxon and is now gone in with Coates. We've got 16 minutes to go here, Pete. Are we going to have splash and dashes, and when do we think they're going to happen?
No, the only car yet to do a splash and dash is going to need to be James Mason. Everybody else, I am saying, is good to the end because of that last safety car. I think everybody took that opportunity last safety car. It was well within the overall pit window to come in and get to the end. So I think James Mason is the only car, and we're going to see him in about 4 laps' time come in, do a splash and dash. And yeah, that's going to be unfortunate because he's going to lose a whole lot of positions. He probably might even drop down to as far as P33 or P34, which he doesn't deserve after being up there and fighting at the speed that he's got. Yeah, strategy mistake. Yeah, maybe employ a strategist, hire a drunken crew chief, or get Pete Baxter to drop in every now and then during the race and give him some more advice earlier on. But we'll see what happens in the future. But I think James is the only one need to do a pit stop.
Yeah, we've got Burhop and Rue. Rue's just cleared Burhop. Burhop cleared Rue, and Rue got him back again. So that's about 3-4 times these guys have changed positions over the last lap and a half here for Adam Burhop and Rue themselves. to Adam sat in there in that Revolution E-Racing Ford, battling away once more. So these guys continuing to fight here in keeping an eye on the front. You can see Allen has not cleared Coates as of yet. So there's no movement from Trent Allen going forward. It's really hard at the moment here, Pete, because we've got 1, 2, 3 in the elite sitting in the top. Then we've got 1, 2, 3 sitting in the top 7 of the challengers as well. Is it just a testament to the series, the fact that we've got challengers now riding right up in the top 10?
Oh, I'm going to go back to my early point, mate. I think it's a testament to PEL coming back to a track where, you know, there's lots of available, there's lots of time for practice, and there's lots of setups out there that that everybody can get a hold on. You know, and it's also so close to the Sebring 12 hour. So I think that brings everything together and brings, I think, the series a whole lot closer than what we otherwise see when PEL goes to tracks where GT3s haven't been and people are going to make their own setups. So for me, that's the biggest reason why I think the challenges are right up there. I think it's absolutely fabulous. And I'm also loving the fact that Harry Winwood, I don't even remember calling Harry, you know, no offence, Harry, I don't remember calling Harry's name yet in this series, yet tonight. Number 1 challenger, top 10, looking for a podium overall finish. How good is that?
Yeah, done a great job for Harry. He's been up there all the way through and deserves everything he gets here. But we're going to see if he can just hold on that little bit longer over Brad Coates. Coates has got Allen tucked in as well, right in behind him. How far is Allen going to go? Mason sitting in that second place, up 13, but we think there's a splash and dash. In fact, we're pretty 100% certain there is a splash and dash coming from him. Trent Allen, though, how far are you going to be able to get up through this order? Rue and Burhop side by side again. There's another overtake. Burhop's got through. Rue again coming back at him. That would be probably turn number, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times they've swapped places over the last lap. Owen Coleman is showing that he's had an incident, but at the moment he does seem to be running. However, Chris Ruddle has jumped to pit lanes. Chris Ruddle has jumped straight to pit lane, and Matt Webber also looks like he's had some form of dramatic drama, but we're going to keep an eye and see what goes on down here in the middle. Unfortunately, Rue, another little blink. He's going to have to be a little bit careful on that one. But these guys are still battling out. But Butler still alongside. He's got Mason, Jeffrey, Inwood, Coates, as it is here, Pete. And we haven't got long for them to go.
No, but yeah, here's what stands out to me, mate. Trent Allen and Brad Coates, they're on the same team. They've got the same liveries out there. Are they working together, or are they going for their own results? Trent's put an absolute barrier between Brad Coates and Jamie Saxon. I think what he's done is he saved Brad from having to look in the rear vision mirror from Jamie Saxon. That now puts Harry Inwood under a little bit more pressure because, you know, Trent Allen and Brad Coates can be talking to each other offline without other people knowing and cooperating and making sure that nothing is done stupid, but it allows Brad Coates to get up and try and have a crack at Harry Winwood. I don't think he's actually got that extra bit of pace he needs, because Harry's been able to hold him off a nice half a second, and if you have a look at it, Harry's putting a whole lot of pressure on Ben Jeffrey right now for P2.
Yeah, he is. Harry's closing in on the back of Jeffrey at the moment. Coates is still in there. I do wonder whether or not Inwood needs to do this, or is he going to put his head down here, Pete, and think, I'm going for the overall? Why not? Is that going to be his thing? What's the situation? Can he get Butler 1.5 seconds further up? We've got 12 minutes to go. Why Harry a challenger if he's a racer IRL? Can't answer that question. It's got nothing to do with me on this one. You need to ask. Obviously, I think Ricky's in YouTube. Ricky, that's a question for you, sir.
No, let's just put it back there. The I rating of 2,500 is defined for this series under 2,500 is defined as the Challenger Series. If you're above 2,500 I rating up to 3,500, then you're in the Elite Series. So that's the breakup, and that's where it starts. Ricky and Jimmy reserve the right as the admin to review the speed overall of people that are under 2,500 but are alien-like skills. Would I say that Harry fits that right now? I can't say I can, because right now he's got Coates and Saxon, both challengers as well, sitting up there and fighting with him, and he's not like he's pulling away from other challengers. So I would say right now it's reasonable if that's where his I rating is and that's where he's classed. It's not like he's blown away. He's in P3 and the rest of the challengers are P23. That would open eyes. Right now, it's a fair fight.
Well, at the moment, it is what it is. Let's see what goes on. Can he be promoted though, even though he's below 2.5k? You reckon?
Yeah, he can be. And that's what I say. That's where the admin reserve the right to look at it and say, hey, listen. And who was it? There was a driver last season we saw that was consistently 10, 15 positions ahead of the rest of the challengers, and they got promoted. And we called them out for it quite a number of times. But I don't think Harry fits that boat right now because he's not that far ahead of other challengers. Yes, they're in the top 10, but other challengers are in the top 10 as well. So right now, I can't see any reason why Ricky and Jimmy would go back and look and say this guy is a superstar well beyond the other challengers. He's leading them, but he's not leading them by a long way, and it's a fair competition. So right now, I think it's fair. May it change in a race or two's time? It may, but that's going to be up to admin. They do that in their review through the cycle.
Yeah. Sorry, why he green instead of red? Well, I hope that answers it for you, Greg, on that one. Pete's just got in and filled us in on there. We've got 9 minutes to go. We've still got Jeffrey not being able to close in on Butler. If anything, Butler's extended it by a 10th. Rue has now got Isaac Curtis pressurising him, and I do mean pressurising him for Rue. He's literally sitting in that 8th spot with Curtis in 9th. They have just changed positions. It's been the same scenario between Rue and Burrop as it has been between Rue and Curtis. They've swapped places 3 times already, and I'm sure there's going to be more coming, Pete. If Rue's been anything, he's been in the fights this evening.
No, it's good, mate. Rue Coistra, he's for a lot of the races we've called, he's been down in the 20s. To see him up in the top 10 is a nice revelation. It's good to see the FRG pink car out there. And, Cher will be loving this. More time for Rue and get the boy on track. Unfortunately, it looks like he's got a bit of blinking in and out, so it's something that he might have to have a look at. But really good to see Rue up there in the top 10. Great to call his name out again.
Yeah. Rue there fighting out in 8th with Isaac Curtis. It is unfortunately an error from admin. Harry is currently officially unaware of the circumstances. He is indeed an elite class driver and will be advised post-race.
Oh, there we go. That puts Brad Coates as number 1 in the Challenger class for tonight, mate.
It does, yes. Why we just spent the last 2 hours bigging up Harry for leading the elite, the Challenger classes.
No, that's Rick's fault. That's not our fault. That's Ricky's fault.
I know. Let's blame Ricky on that one.
Let's blame Ricky. We can blame Jimmy. That's easier. Yeah, Ricky's a better guy. Yeah.
Right, I'm just going to deal with this situation with Harry now. I'm going to move him. Rick, are you absolutely right? He's now going to go red, and all of everything we've spoken about for the last hour and 53 minutes, ignore. Okay?
We've now changed with 7 minutes to go in the race. Harry Inwood has just been promoted to elite class and is now running P3 on track. And he's in the way of Brad Coates, the now leading Challenger class. So we're gonna have a laugh about it because it's a little bit of fun.
Yeah. Right, there we go. On that one for for Harry Inwood, he's now 3rd in elites, chasing down Ben Jeffrey for that 2nd spot on the podium. And Brad Coates doing a great job leading the challengers. He's got Jamie Saxon, who's sitting there in 2nd place, separated from him, and Trent Allen all the way through. It looks like Matt Webber, Nick Miller and Glenn are not. I've also had incidents towards the end of this race. Isaac Curtis back in again with Rue, who I bet Rue is loving the battles. I bet he is, because he's been in a few of them all the way through this race as Rue. So there we go. And now they're trying to blame, was Jimmy admin from this week, Rick? So they're all trying to put it on Jimmy.
No, let's put the driving standards on Jimmy. Let's put the admin on Ricky. I don't know. Let's just say it is what it is. It's good to see all of the lads out there. And like I said, I don't recall calling Harry's name. So welcome to the series, Harry. And it's good to see you up the front there, giving everybody a fight. And loving the fact that that Brad Coates and Jamie Saxon are in there P5 and 6, still racing hard together. A little bit of a gap between them. And let's shout out to Kurt Chapman. That has now promoted Kurt Chapman to podium in the Challenger.
Yes, yeah. I said, oh, he isn't. He's off the side. Where's Jesse McMinimum? McMinimum's cleared Chapman as well. McMinimum has just snapped that third place away from Chapman, unfortunately for you, Pete. Owen Coleman and Richard Mayer have had a mare. Let's just put it that way. Oh, that was a bad pun if I ever do. Forgive myself for that one. But here we go. Oh, Coleman is going to... Oh, poor old Chapman. 1 minute he's in third, the next minute he's in fourth, and he's cutting the grass. Oh, poor old Chapman there at Sebring. But McMinimum is now third in the Challenger classes. Saxon and Coates are back together. Harry doing great, still be on the podium, even if he got a mid-race promo. he did. So, there you go. Curtis and Rue are back together again, coming round the final corner, 55 on the clock. So there we go. And Jimmy, yeah, pick on the fat guy.
Oh, I can't believe. I think I owe Kurt Chapman a beer. That is terrible curse from commentary, isn't it?
That was literally on you.
Oh.
It was on you.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
unbelievable. Kurt, let's meet at Bathurst, mate. I'll buy you a beer. That is just the most unbelievable thing I've seen for a long time. We get you on with 5 minutes to go on the race, and Ricky Provenzali takes you off, mate. Yeah, no, that's on admin. They can shout your beer. I'll get them to pay for it, all right? All up. Kurt, we're good.
Well, there you go. You ever seen the commentator's curse? Well, you've just seen it. Brad Coates leading away with Saxon. Trent Allen has managed to clear Coates. 1:56.43 on the clock. Not long to go now. There's going to be about 2 more laps here. Ben Jeffrey can still not escape away from Harry Inwood. Inwood is putting Jeffrey under pressure. These two Mercs trying to chase down the Porsche Butler. Butler with his different pit stop. I think it was pit stop number 2, where he was about 5 seconds quicker. And Butler now managed to get himself into first place, but he has got Jeffrey and Inwood closing in behind him, Pete. If Inwood's going to put anybody under pressure, he's definitely going to put Jeffrey.
Well, he's proven all night that he's been, like I'm talking about Harry Inwood, he's proven all night he's been a fairly calm driver, even when he's had a bit of pressure or he's got others under pressure, and he's just been there. And it's just like, righto, I'm here. You either make a mistake and I've got you, or you don't keep watching your mirrors and I'm going to make you think twice about everything you do. So, yeah, really interesting. Oh, mate, I've just seen Owen Coleman disappear from the server. Owen Coleman has just an incident and DNF'd.
I wonder... Oh, hold on. Whatever he did it here. That was where we saw the incident, and then he just jumped straight to pit lane after that. Yeah, parks up and then goes off straight to pit lane. So there we go. That was the end of Owen Coleman.
Authorised tow because it's late in the race, and yeah, enough's enough. Wow, big news. Owen Coleman, you know, a previous PL champion, out of the race on round 2.
Started 4th, got 2nd, made a mistake, ended up 4th, and now it's all just gone Pete Tong as it's continued to go here. But all the while, Hinwood fights with Jeffries. Jeffrey is clearing the way for Butler to take the victory. There's going to be... Oh, that is going to be a very close lap, whether or not they're actually going to make it, or is this lap 53 going to be the final one? They've got about a minute to go round half of this circuit. This is going to be very close here, Pete.
Actually, it will be, right? Because, I mean, they're 2 minutes, 2 laps, right?
Yeah, they're going to... no, Pete, this is going to be borderline checkered flag, I think.
Now, do you have the fuel to do another lap? That's the question, JP. You know, when you come into that fuel stop, what is your fuel strategy on? You know, one more lap or only this one?
Well,
are we going to see cars running out of
seconds.
fuel if he gets to the start-finish line 2 seconds earlier than what he otherwise should have?
20 seconds.
Keep it calm.
I mean, where are we at? 10
No,
seconds.
we're going another lap, mate. I'm cool. We're going to go another lap, I reckon.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I think it's going to be the white flag this time around. Barney's waving a white flag in the sun that we really can't see.
There it is.
There it is. White flag lap for Butler. So we have gone one more. Saxon and Coates battled for the whole 2 hours. And guess what? They're going to battle for the next 2 hours and 2 minutes because they are literally fighting out for the lead in the Challengers with the win race promo of Inwood. But at the moment, they're going to be going side by side into turn number 2. We've got Saxon on the outside, Coates on the inside through turn 3. Coming into the left-hander now is that rundown gurney bend into the hairpin. These guys, Pete, they've been together all race. They might as well be together right at the end as well.
No, sensational driving too. It's just absolute classic. Really, really good driving. Brad Coates is putting the car where he needs to defend. Jamie Saxon's having to go all the way around the outside to try and get around the outside. Neither of them are bumping into each other. Everything is well, true and fair and good racing. Jamie seems to have a little bit of a run out of some of the corners. He's just got to get inside the car at some stage where he can get inside under a braking marker. But Brad Coates is putting the car where he needs to save it. This is fabulous and fair racing, and I love watching this kind of racing. This is what you come to watch racing for.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely do, and these guys are not going to stop. We've got our leader at the moment. He's on his run out of Tower, coming into Cullingham. We're not going to be long here. Through Bishop's Bend, we're going to go into the new, aptly named Genderbean. But these guys at the moment continuing to fight there. Berhop flashing. I don't know why you're flashing there, son. They're fighting for position. They are not going to let you go on the final lap. If you think your entitlement allows you that, you are in deep doo-doo. But Saxon and Coates going for it now as well, coming down that final back straight. They are going to get there before the leader does over the line, so we will get back to the leader very, very shortly. Just want to see if there's going to be a move. I don't think there is. I think we're too far back unless Coates makes a major drama, but it's going to be Jesse Butler taking the checkered flag here as well, takes the victory. Ben Jeffrey grabs second, Inwood gets third. What's going on? It is going to be Coates. It's going to be Saxon. Coates takes the Challenger class win. Saxon grabs that second place as well. But it's a Butler, Jeffrey, Inwood, 1, 2, 3, Pete.
Ah, absolutely. And what fabulous racing from the guys in the Challenger class. That was so good. They were so close. Those two guys, Brent Coates and Jamie Saxon, they were together all race, the whole race. I can't wait to see if we get to chat with Jamie Saxon and find out what's going through his head, because I tell you, that was great pressure. Jesse McManaman, P13, podium in Challenger class. Come from nowhere. We didn't talk a lot about Jesse tonight, but yeah, no, he's sort of off the battle for the Challenger class because of the show that Coates and Saxon put on. But good on him, mate. We don't get to chat about the Challengers as much as we normally do because the elite guys are always so far in front, and we sort of cover that. But yeah, I guess tonight is the night of the Challenger.
Yeah, it definitely was. We were covering them, and they were there as well. Stefan Mellis, light flashing over the line. Not really seen much of him throughout this race. Davis Norris is going to finish off as well with Miller, Chapman and Withers. They're going to be the final ones, and Braden O'Loughlin, I think. Glenn or not, maybe. Is Brant John? He is still running. Matt Webber's still running as well. A lot of people out behind that, unfortunately. You can see down the bottom end of the field, but at the moment, these guys going over the line. Webber's going to come and wrap this one up. Job done and dusted. What about Braden O'Loughlin? Well, he's going to finish off at the same time, just in behind. So we will be able to bring you up the scores, the final results very, very shortly. Just got Glenn Arnott, who is just finished off there. So we're bringing you the final results, and then we will be able to have a chat with some of these drivers. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here are the results. Jesse Butler is your winner with Ben Jeffrey in second and Harry Inwood in third. Then we got Trent Allen in fourth. The winner of the Challengers is Brad Coates, takes the win with Jamie Saxon sitting in second. Adam Burhop, Isaac Curtis, Ruco Istra, Aaron Raccanello, Richard Mayer and Dan Piper are 7 to 12. Jesse McMiniman rounding out the podium for the Challengers. Then we got Nick Bottrell, Matt Carrig in there, Jeremy Greentree, Brian Tucker and Kurt Nommenson, who had a great old scrap down in Challengers for the whole entire race. Glenn Jones, Alfonso Latella, Greg Heaney in 21st, and Ben Brook, Bobby Kamara, James Mason, Matt McCamley, Stefan Mellis, Justin Davis and Matthew Norris. Big shout out to all of these guys, as we're currently still on the lead lap, and that's 31 cars with Chapman and Withers. Goodfella 2 laps down. Braden O'Loughlin, Owen Coleman out, Glenn Arnott out, Ruddle out, Johnson out, Webber out, Magri out. Here, then we've got Benici was also out, Atkins, McClimber, Provisali, Allen, Hallinan, Lawson, and Edwards. And then we've got Darrell O'Sullivan, who I don't believe took to the start here of this one. Pete, very, very interesting here, and a great race for all of these guys. We can have a look and we'll have a quick chat as he's... Oh, no, I won't, because I can't... Oh, I don't know if you can grab Brad Coates for me there, Pete, but I can't seem to move him. You move him, Pete?
Got him.
Got him. Right, let's have a chat with your challenger, Victor. Was Mr. Brad Coates as well. Come and join us in the booth. Brad, welcome in, bud. Well done.
Thanks, boys. Haven't been in here before. It's nice. I like what you're doing with the place.
Thanks, mate. Enjoy the pictures on the wall. Ignore the one of Pete in the 2-2. Unfortunately, that was a bet he lost. But then again,
My favourite.
Yeah, he's lost a lot of them, mate.
He's scared it already.
Yeah, on that one. Brad, you and Jamie Saxon having a great old battle throughout the whole race. You then come together at the end of the race and you battled it as well. But it was a very, very tough win in that Challenger class.
He's quick. He kept me honest. I'll tell you what. I thought I'd got away from him, and then out of nowhere he kind of crawled his way back. But I don't even know if I took the win. I think Harry got me by 0.02. But happy to be on the podium.
Harry got promoted mid-race to elites.
Well, there you go. You little ripper. Let's go.
No, you took the victory there, bud, as well. There was some confusion. It was mentioned in YouTube chat from Ricky to say that there was an admin error and that he had been promoted to elite. So, Brad, you are the Challenger class winner.
Thank you. Oh, look, it's good. Shout out to my team, to be honest. The Revolutionary Racing guys. Just the community there helps me get better. I definitely have come leaps and bounds over the last 6 months, and mostly because of them.
Oh, there you go, mate, and a great job as well, because let's face it, very tough track, Sebring, and for you to come out on top is absolutely amazing. Was there anybody else apart from your team you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Just the boys. Shout out to Harry as well. I was chasing him down. He's pretty quick. I couldn't keep up with him. Just that toe down the straight, or just being able to sit behind someone is super powerful around here. I thought I did okay with the fuel saving, but just being under someone's wing lap after lap after lap really does help you out.
Absolutely. Well, Brian, thank you so much for joining us there. We're going to pop you back down into the green room. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you next time out.
Thanks, boys.
Well, there you go, Pete. We don't have anybody else for a chat.
Where's everyone else?
I don't know. They're not in the green room. They're not here ready.
Anyway. That is par for the course. Oh, well, let's talk about the winner.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Butler. Now, where did Jesse come from, mate? For the whole race, Jesse Butler was like there or thereabouts. So we're talking about Ben Jeffrey and Owen Coleman and the race that they were having. Trent Allen was up there, and then before we know it, Jesse Butler's out the front and takes a win. How good is that?
Yeah, absolutely, and he made it from his second pit stop when he got out in front. So it was a great job from Jesse and absolutely unbelievable. So fair play to him on that one. Join us again. Don't forget for the next round, guys, as well. And we'll be out there. What?
There's Jesse Butler.
Oh,
Hello.
Hello, Jesse Butler. You're on the broadcast.
Ah, thank you.
Congratulations, mate.
Thank you for that. That's yeah, that was awesome.
Why do you sound surprised that you're here, Jess? I find it quite busy. You seem very lost that you're here.
You won the race.
Yeah, I know. It just seems very lost that he's here. Jess, you all right?
Yeah, I'm good. It's just a bit of a surreal feeling. Obviously, I knew I was going to get disqualified from the whatever position I got because I changed the car. Just I was in the McLaren and didn't quite feel comfortable or like it. So if I'm going to do a series that I at least want to enjoy the car, and the old faithful's the Porsche. So it was a great combo to come back to with the Porsche and Sebring, my kind of two favourite combos. So, but it was bloody hard work out there, that's for sure.
It definitely was.
So what you're telling us is you've won the race, but you haven't.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I think Jared Knight's just put up cheat on the chat. But yeah, in all good fun, I think Jared's having a good stab in the dark and saying,
Oh,
no, good on you.
it,
We're recognising some good driving.
it was yeah, it was bloody brilliant. I had one of the blokes that I've kind of had throughout my whole kind of iRacing experience with Justin Quinn and my team owner Pete Edwards kind of helped me out through the race, and we come up with a really good strategy with just to get me into a bit of clear air in that middle period of the race, just do a bit of a short fill. And it worked perfectly. I actually thought the safety car kind of almost ruined it. I wasn't sure where we were going to sit. We'd done a bit of fuel saving just to make sure we got to the end and whatnot, but it worked out perfectly. And in the end, it was very tense. Ben and Harry, they were extremely quick. Congratulations to Ben on the win. But both of them were incredibly quick. So that kind of last kind of segment, once I got in front, it was just all about just kind of keeping the clear head and just punching out quality laps and just try to. I knew once those guys got in the tow, the Porsche isn't real good in a straight line. So if I could keep them out of the tow, I knew I kind of had a bit of a half a chance.
Good on you, mate. It's a great race, and you had some tough competition to have to fight off and beat anyway. So, and I think you did that more through strategy than just pure pace. So, so well done to you and the team. Absolute great result, and we'll see you back next time.
Yeah. Just one thing before you guys head off. Tonight was kind of the first, other than Bathurst and whatnot. I had the livery just kind of commemorating a young fella that passed away at the start of January. So that one's for you, Harry. Yeah, it's just really good to kind of get that one off the chest. Yeah, thanks, boys.
Good on you, mate, and that's a good message to send out. So, so well done, and yeah, shout out to Harry.
Thank you.
Well, I think that's it, JP.
Yeah, I think that is that one. On that one, guys, we're gonna wrap it up for this evening. Thank you so much for everybody that's come out and joined us on that one. Don't forget, join us next time out for the Limited Series as we head to Monza. Then we've got Nürburgring, WELC, Mugello, Spa, and then Suzuka. I think somebody's got a spelling mistake on the calendar there on that one. But join us next time out as well. Well, guys, thank you so much. I've been JB. I've been alongside PB. Together we meet PB and J. Have a great one. As always, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.